Ba 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 ba. Musical interlude. Hello, welcome to Honest Wargamer. I think I'm your host, Rob. We're live in the Honest Wargamer studio. I'm with Mr. Nathan Prescott of Playing Warhammer fame. Hey, Nate, how you doing?
I'm alright, you?
I tell you what, a little bit of a stressful start to the show, which is why we're a little bit late. So if you guys are just joining us, I think I can see you. I'm not sure. A little bit of a stress because the roof fell in, broke the studio.
Yeah.
That was a morning, or that's happened right now. So currently I'm fine. What about you? How are you?
Grand, yeah. A little bit tired from a busy weekend playing Warhammer, and then a day grinding out mortar from Brickwork. So there you
go. That doesn't sound. Is that less stressful, more stressful than the roof falling in? I don't know. So hello, welcome. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a minute. So hello, welcome to Honest Wargamer. I'm your host Rob. We're live in the studio, and thank you for joining us. If you have joined us on Twitch, and I should be able to take your questions in but a moment. If you're listening to the podcast, stay hydrated. I hope you're well. Love you loads. If you are like Rene Jalesh, messaged me over the weekend. I definitely butchered his name, but I apologise. But big shout out to him, and big shout out to JBM1878 who's just joined us. So if you are someone on Twitch who's just subscribed, thanks very much. If you are someone on Patreon, thanks for being on Patreon. Also put my very first Patreon video out on Monday, Nate. Another one going out later.
Last week?
No, on Friday. Friday. The other one's going up later. So
okay.
A cool bit of news for everyone that if you joined us for the birthday stream, I don't know where Twitch is now, Nate. If you join us for the birthday stream, you'll have found out that as of next week, so currently every day there's a video going up on Patreon with a rundown done by yours truly. That's my face. And then next week they'll be available to the public, and there'll be one a day. Well, Monday through to Friday.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and it's cool. Been working on that for a while, haven't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pete Pratt, thanks for subscribing for 22 months. Bon Clodger, what's up? Symbol. Rob's mic is pretty scratchy because it's right next to my face. Apologies. It's because we've moved places.
Yeah, we have. We've swapped.
We've swapped sides. How do you feel about being on that side?
Yeah, that's cool.
Got any thoughts?
No, not
okay.
Just
rude.
I don't know. How's it on that side?
Terrible. I feel so uncomfortable. Everything's wrong. I don't know where all of the things are. Okay, we'll get used to it. Uncle Jim, good evening. Mere Mouse, Speckles, what's up? Jim Bay, Learn Trade Player A. So yeah, Patreon guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you. You guys get some new stuff now. You guys are rad. Twitch guys, you guys are great. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you guys are also cool. Big love to you guys. And then hi Tudrid. And then today's show, that's what we're going to do. It's a bit flustered. Today's show, Rob and Nathan, we are going to talk about how good Nathan is at Warhammer in his Adventures of Blood and Glory.
Yeah.
And we're going to review the Ogor Mawtribes Battletome. But because me and Nath are reviewing the Ogor Mawtribes video, we brought ourselves some dinner. Because if you're not... I tried to organise it that we could review it in a restaurant. I tried earlier today, but there were very few restaurants that let me set up a whole live streaming kit so we could review it inside. But I thought that would be funny.
Yeah.
But I thought the best we could do is eat while we review.
Yeah,
review
with our mouths full. We might lose a few viewers.
We might. So get ready for that. We're also going to talk about the news because there's some incredible news as well. Ruskell said you guys had some water problems, possibly too hydrated. That's right. The studio's become too hydrated. Hi, Hike on Wargaming. And Twitter says just picked up a more pot. So hyped. Also hydrated. Positive. Why doesn't Nathan have a turkey leg? That's what you'd expect you to eat. So what have you got for your Mawtribes review, food-wise? A question also to the Twitch chat if anyone's eating.
I've got a chow mein.
So Mawtribesy. I've got...
chow down a lot of mein.
I've got salt and pepper tofu. But the Chinese people call it bean curd.
Yeah.
So, which is not an appetising name. They definitely need to rebrand that.
And call it tofu.
I don't know. So we're going to do the review for the Mawtribes. But I would like to hear, what do we want to do? Mawtribes first? Talk about your blood and glory? Or check out the news?
Yeah, let's do the news.
Okay, so you're looking at it there. If everyone wants to look on the screen, get ready. So the first thing we're going to look at... Oh, no, I don't even know. The Chaos Lord. So, Games Workshop unveiled... Oh, no, I've done it wrong. There we go. Games Workshop have unveiled some new Chaos with the Slaves to Darkness Battle Tome and some new models. By the way, all of the models we're about to see, Chaos Knights, Chaos Warriors, and this guy, are in a box set.
Cool.
They're just doing a brand new box set. Jayzor, thanks for subscribing, by the way. So, just looks... And this guy looks amazing. Like, I really think they've hit their stride with the Chaos stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think this is arguably, I'm going to make a statement now, best model 2019. Oh, something's just happened. I don't know if I can't see it because what's happened, gents? Some sort of noise. Okay. What do you think of the model? And everyone at home, what do you think of it about it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like the mount. Not that keen on the rider, but the mount is cool as anything.
So there's also another version, if you get like a sneak view of the video, because I've watched it several times, there's a helmeted guy with a lance as well, which I think is pretty rad. I can see what you mean, the pose on the rider, but that's very much more of like a commanding pose, isn't it? Like, go forward, my legions. But that guy, he looks radical. Guarantee he's going to have a 4-up save, which is going to fuck me off. But like, he's going to be immense. I'm very excited about this guy. Come on, look at him. What is it? It's like a rhinosaur. A rhino. What are they? Because you grew up around those. Like a rhino, but mixed with a lizard.
That's a Legavon with a horn.
A Legavon?
No.
What's a Legavon?
What do you call them? Iguanas is what you call them.
It's what we call them. Yeah. That's colonial folk.
You weirdos. Yeah. It's a Legavon with a horn.
Mr. Tees
Big
loves
crocodile.
the new models. The Irish Chin says, also, hi the Irish Chin. Big fan of you. Can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. No, I've got a new organisation tool, Nath, so that I can find out when things are. For instance, it's Warhammer in Ireland in 26 days.
That's a calendar.
And it's like a calendar, but for idiots. And then 82 days, it's CanCon.
Wow. Cool.
82 days doesn't sound very long.
Soon. Yeah,
and it's the Sheffield Slaughter in 110 days. That sounds further away. That's fine.
That's because it's 3 digits.
Yeah.
Instead of 2.
I hate you so much. Can't have a TV, what's up? Colora says, unfortunately, they start collecting boxes push fit. That is not an unfortunately. That is a better.
That just means they're a bit more monopose, aren't they?
Yeah. Someone says the mount looks like he's been lobotomized. What?
No, I think, the rider looks like he's been lobotomized.
You guys are all pricks. They look fantastic. Yeah, get to the chopper, Slaves to Darkness, so damn excited, agreed. And also, correct, STD, the most unfortunate abbreviation of anything ever. Slaves to Darkness, STDs. What are you playing? STDs. Have been all my life. Hashtag lol. No
Cool.
jokes for you. Okay. He's a big horny lizard, says Chris Danish. So you guys excited? Good. So then, Nath, there's this guy. Oh, so then there's, you can see there's the Chaos Knights and the Chaos Warriors. They've all been reposed. Yeah. So they're the same sort of sculpts, cool. But they look radical. Big fan. But the fact that that's going to be a box set with, I think, 10 Chaos Warriors, a unit of Chaos Knights, and this gangster, this absolute beast. But they also unveiled and showed some new Warcry models, which look amazing. So there's this guy, the Mindhunter Sivanax. I don't know, but it's...
Oh, the Sphinx thing, yeah. That's cool.
Come on, man.
No.
That's more than cool. But it's got a hilarious face. It's got like... I don't really like the horn up version, but the horn down version's got the most derpy face. Like if you can zoom in.
Sphinx-like, yeah.
No, not the derpy one. Not the horn version. He looks dumb.
The one with the horns down. That's very sphinxy.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's quite kitty-like, isn't it?
Yeah. Looks
like my girlfriend's cat Albus, who's a devil cat. So it's probably that's what it is. Anyway, it looks rad, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I hope this is a box set, by the way. Next up is the Ogroid Mimrodon. So he looks sensational. Definitely also a Demon Prince conversion right there. in my opinion. Like, just awesome. Great looking shield. Also, a really nice paint job. Very like authentic as opposed to the more cartoonish colours that you generally tend to see them. I don't know if that's true for all the Warcry stuff. Have they gone down that kind of like more realism route?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Flukes a lot. What's up?
I mean, there's dudes that are dressed up as crows and ones with weird headdresses.
I'm more meant the painting. But yeah, you're right.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah, sure, they look very realistic.
Okay, all right. But then obviously all the Warcry stuff has already got War Scrolls in HC Mod as well.
Yeah.
So the fact that these guys are going to be Chaos monsters,
He's just cool. Yeah, I wonder what faction he's going to end up in.
Oh, do you not think he's going to be Chaos?
Yeah. I mean, which one of their?
Oh, like Beasted Chaos or something.
Yeah, is he going to be Beast of Chaos? Is he going to be Slaves to Darkness? Is he going to be? Because the other Ogor is in Zinch, isn't he? But the skies.
The Ogor Thermitage. Yeah, but they've stopped, I think they haven't stopped selling him. He's still there. Hey Hawkeye. Hey everyone, by the way, thanks for joining us. So then the last one is the Fungoid Smasher. I think that's his name, or the Formoid. I wrote that wrong in my notes. But I reckon. Do you reckon these guys will be in the Slaves to Darkness book? Or because none of the other Warcry stuff has, but do you think all the other Warcry stuff will go in the Slaves to Darkness book?
Yeah, could do. I mean, yeah, I guess it could do. I don't know.
Okay.
Or yeah.
But what do you think of this guy?
Yeah, he's pretty sweet as well, isn't he? He's
radical, in my opinion. And he's a Cyclops, but he's got like a. If you see, he's a Cyclops, but he's got a little bit of armor plating over his one eye in the centre.
Is he a Cyclops?
Yeah. John Ascombe, thanks for subscribing, brother. Big love to you, my doubles partner. Owen, thanks for being here. Thanks everyone for being here. Just saying hi. T-Strainer over his eye.
I think he's a Cyclops.
Serge MMO asks what's going on with his hand. He's got a rock in it, I think. Hasn't he? I wonder how big he's going to be. What do you reckon?
He's got a rock in each hand.
Yeah, you're right. He's like you. He's like a builder.
I don't think so.
He's definitely in Chaos, though. He's got a Chaos Pauldron. Yeah. He looks awesome anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a Chaos thing. But...
hello, everyone, by the way. Oh, Warren, thanks for subscribing. What's wrong? OJ, what's up? Also, hi, Flukesy. Don't think they're that big. Anyway, I think they look sweet as petunias.
Yeah.
I think they're some of the best models I've seen to date. Like, the Bone Daddy stuff's got like a very unique and different aesthetic. And obviously, the Mawtribes, like, I think the cooking pot for the Mawtribe is excellente. Do you not like the model?
I've not had a proper chance to look at it properly. I mean, it just looks like a pot with a 10.
Oh my god, I'm going to send you so many pictures in the future. How did you cook at home back in the African wilds? Didn't you just use a pot with a 10?
Yeah.
Did you not even need the 10?
Yeah,
no 10s.
Don't need a 10.
Did you get that link I sent you about that?
Oh yeah, about the girl that poked out a crocodile's eyes. I was like, what? I tried to open the story, but I couldn't read that.
Oh, Mr. Teej, thanks for subscribing. Keep being the best duo since peanut butter and jelly. Oh, Mr. Teej. Well, apparently the kitty is on a 90mm base, so the others could also be on pretty big bases as well. I think it's very exciting. Mm-hmm. I think it's really exciting. And also, let's talk about the introduction of the Slaves to Darkness book for a minute, because obviously they're going to have some sort of underlying thing. I imagine they'll go down the Beast of Chaos route. Maybe you'll be able to give everything a mark of Chaos, and then it'll become Khorne Allegiance. So it'll be like a Beast of Chaos sort of book, where you can either have just unaligned, or you can have like a Khorne version and a Nurgle version. But now Chaos has got to be like just the best faction. Not the best faction, sorry. Apologies, Destruction players. Never to you, Death players. You're the worst. And Order players don't watch the show, so it's fine. But what I mean is like, if you wanted like that starter box, if Chaos Knights and Chaos Warriors are okay, and then if you can just give them all mark of Khorne, let's say, and then you can put them into a Khorne army, that's got to be the best like new starter box going.
Oh yeah, pretty flexible.
That's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of flexibility and variety in it. And I, for one, also it'd be nice to see Big Papa Archeon actually be scary. What do you reckon, Rentoul and Slayer of Kings?
He's a douchebag.
Kuka Wargaming says Mawtribes Pot versus the Fire Slayer Pizza Oven, the Iron Chef of the Mortal Realms.
Master Chef.
Bon Clodger says Slayer of Kings is apparently Ren too. My God. But as Nathan's always said, kings are not particularly tough.
Yeah, don't need Ren 2 to kill a king.
So, what do you think about the models generally? And also the release of Slave Dance book, Twitch chat and Nathan. I'm gonna have a bit of
the models look great. Very nice indeed. I like the knights and the warriors. They look sweet. Yeah. The mount looks good. I'm not so fond of the dude on the back, but there we go.
What is it about him? The pose, or just the fact that he's an evil dude?
Just the general aesthetic of it. His axe looks a bit weird.
A bit like I much prefer the Lance version that I've seen.
Okay.
Well, I haven't really seen it. I've scoped it through the video, but that looks pretty cool. And then I only just caught because it hasn't. No one else has put up the little image. They do like a quick flash image in the video that shows that it's a starter box, start collecting box, and I'm just like, what an amazing start collecting box! I think. Obviously, like the start collecting boxes that we've always had have been like a bunch of models that they just decided would go into a start collecting box.
Yeah.
But now I think we're starting to see like a genuine, like almost planned out, like this is what we're going to do.
To go in that box, yeah.
I think I definitely think that's true. And Nath.
And it's not a double release, so.
Well, I mean, I'm very happy about that. It's been a stressful few weeks. Hawkeye says in the Bone Reapers book, it says that Catacross has just started entering the 8 points, so maybe it's the next part of the narrative. That's cool. Nevscorn says excited to see all the legions. Hopefully, miles better than currently. I'd like some more models, and I hope it's not Codex Warcry. Well, there's definitely new models. We've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Can't wait for the book. Looking forward to using them with good rules. Hype for the models, but going to wait for not for push fit. But they're cool as shit, John Askham. I agree. But if you already, apart from the mounted guy, you can already buy warriors and knights and get them. You start painting them up now, because I think it's like there was a leak, wasn't there? It said it was like December time for the Slaves to Darkness book. So you got 2 months to like already put down your warriors and knights onto like get them painted up, put them on bases, and then you just got to wait to see if you want. I mean, you can paint up Big Papa Archeon right now, and then stick him and get him ready. So
yeah, you would have thought Varangard or a thing. So.
Oh yeah, I just built some this weekend. Almost like I knew it was coming, but I did because I saw the leak, which I tweeted. So I believed that tweet. So
that's gone again.
And then my Legion of Asgore are definitely getting a contingent of guys who can actually move. Yes, that's also true. Speckle says the box looks awesome. Feast of Bones is the first box to have units of the right size as well. 10 Mortic Guard, not 8. But haven't they got 3 lead belchers? I don't know. I have a fully painted Slave Starts in the army, says Learn Train Play. Sat on the shelf just waiting to be used. And then Bon Clodger says, I love some STDs for Christmas. You've all got to have your own time.
What's up? Special.
The new looks are very much in line with the existing Varangard. I'd say that's true. I don't think Varangard have really ever seen play since their initial introduction into Age of Sigmar. Because when the first General Sample came out, they got lumped into Everchosen, and I wasn't 100% certain you could even make an Everchosen. They had no, because they weren't battle lined at that point, were they? So you couldn't even make a Slave Sedan, an Everchosen army, I don't think. Anyway, but they are now. Yeah. They're out. Well, not out.
They'll be out shortly. Yeah.
The reason I'm falling over myself is I'm very excited. Like I've been writing like Bone Daddy lists. Yeah, I was like, am I going to get a Bone Daddy army? Because it's not that expensive. If you get the Mortek Guard, it is. But the catapults are relatively cheap for Games Workshop models, sort of thing. Yeah. I suppose they're not.
Money to points wise.
Yeah, money to points wise. The Harvesters are pretty good as well. But then if you're going to get the Mortek Guard, which you have to get the Mortek Guard, I would argue, then that's where the big price point comes in, because it's £35 for 20 dudes. And you're probably going to rock. I would like to rock 80 dudes. So I'm not 100% certain. But I was looking at that, and then I was like, can I really afford it? It's like £200-300. I was like, probably not. Like, I'll have to wait till next year. By the time I've waited till next year, like, everyone's going to have played them to death, and it would just be like, whatever. But then they showed the Chaos Warrior stuff, and I was like, sold. because they're fucking great. Those are some of the first models that I ever like. Chaos Knights specifically. They're just Chaos Knights. Just got me by the short and curlies because there aren't really like many like knights. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm not talking to you ever again. Kadra says I've got 30 Chaos Warriors and 5 Knights and 5 Juggernauts plus Warcry stuff, so I'm good to start. Which that's a good collection.
They've got chariots as well, haven't they?
They've got the chariots. They've got War Shrine chariots. They've got the Chaos Lord on Manticore, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord on Manticore. They've got the guys on foot. They've got Chaos Lord on horse. Man, they've got tons of wicked shit. Like, fucking wicked. Like, it could be, I reckon it's like the kick-off army for a bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sharpen the Quicksilver swords, I think.
Oh, they're going to be so racist. Maliki says £35 for 20 is great. Point for pounds, it's not too bad. I think it's the fact that you have to buy, not have to buy. You never have to buy. But it's the fact that, in my opinion, you're probably going to rock 80, is where it's like, okay, 70 quid a squad, which I guess is not loads. Like, it's 30 quid cheaper than the Witch Elves build. And obviously that's at full Games Workshop price if you get them not second hand, but I mean, if anyone wants to sell me them second hand for £5, sold. I mean, from second hand retailers, that's what I mean. Saffron have the oldest book that needs updated the most. They do, but you've got a story about, tell me about Saffron in a minute, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Plus you could soup them with other god marks. I think that's the most important part, is that if you buy this, I think you buy, well, depending on the book, because obviously we don't know, but the Ever-Chosen book, but I'd argue that it's probably the most points for pounds efficient box, that Start Collecting box, plus other stuff that you ever could buy.
Okay.
Because you can just be like, their Mark of Nurgle now, their Mark of Khorne, which is what's cool about Marauders. I'd love it if they did some new Marauders as well. That would be good, rad, because the old Marauders looking a bit Conan. Yeah, they're looking a bit. Did you ever watch Xena Warrior Princess?
No, not really.
Okay.
I maybe saw one or two of them.
Number one,
by mistake.
Number one, you should do, because it's an amazing series. Right. But also number two, they kind of look like all the bad guys in Xena. Chaos Marauders. Have you not seen it?
Surely the Reavers would do this. Like those Khorne Reavers.
Oh yeah, but they're covered in corn, so if you want to use them in Zinj, it doesn't make much sense.
Fair enough. Some
underlined dudes. But I guess if you had money, if you were Mr. Moneybags, you could always just go crazy with the Warcry cut sets, because those guys are pretty great, but they are pretty monopose, so I don't know. So Brutal Massacre says, yeah, but a legit army is 60 guard, 3 catapults, harvester, a legion, and catacross. It's about £350. So just talking about the pricing. Okay. It might be quite cool to do a show about pricing of an army versus, so, I mean, but some of us have got tons of money, right? So, Coloroo says I'm going to run a fuck off unit of 36 Iron Golem. That's great, because you can take the Iron Golem warbands. You can have a big unit
you can take them in.
Yeah, you can take them in big fucking blocks.
Multiples of what they are.
Yeah, so you could just run. You could have what you could have is like a unit of Iron Golems, but you have to rebase them because some of them are on 28 mil bases, so you'd have to put them on 25s. But you can have a big block of Iron Golems, big block of the Untamed Beasts, and it would look pretty cool.
What, as Marauders?
As Marauders.
Oh, okay, not as. You can't take multiple units of Iron Golems as, multiply them up.
No. Sorry, say that again.
Because they've got War Scrolls, don't they?
Yeah.
Can you increase the size of the War Scroll?
Yeah, for the Untamed Beast, for instance, is 9.
Yeah,
but you can have them in units. Like you can
take
have
an 18
and a 27. Yeah. Okay. You might even be able to take a 36. I'm not sure, but you can definitely take a 27.
You could do that like a proper Iron Golem unit.
Yeah.
36. Oh, okay.
That's cool, right? Yeah. MJ Hale, thanks for subscribing. Yeah, it's really cool. 36 Iron Golems as a unit. Konaru, very excited. And then also, big shout out to Oscar Lars Paints, who's in the chat. What a gorgeous man. And also Zysac 106, our 3D printer and merch producer. James Powell. Did you get a t-shirt?
No. I paid for one. I don't know where it is.
Send that.
Cool.
I've got it for you. We sorted it.
Thanks.
Okay. Furies are super good. Right. MJ Hell, thanks for subscribing. So, Nath,
Yes.
we've finished talking about Chaos. I think everyone's excited. I'm
Is
excited.
that all the news?
That's all the news. No, Servitor's also got a t-shirt. Nice. No, the news. You were playing Warhammer this weekend, and I want to hear all about it. That's what I want to do while I eat my food for the Mawtribes review.
Cool. Yeah. Went to Blood and Glory. Pretty cool. It's the first time I've been to at the Roundhouse. So, nice venue.
We heard last week about the army that you were taking, including Geminids. You filthy, filthy man.
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple of games I didn't cast them
Why?
at all. Some armies just stop you casting stuff. Really.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brutal Massacre says we need more excited. I think people are very excited about Saves the Darkness. I am too. So how were your games? Who did you play? Talk me through it. What was the venue like? I need a tournament review.
Yeah.
What was the venue like?
Yeah, like I said, the first time I've been to the Roundhouse.
Mhm.
Really nice venue. Yeah. Impressed. Yeah.
Toilets?
It had toilets, yes.
Hand dryers?
There were hand dryers.
Or paper towels? The superior choice.
There were hand dryers.
Were they Dysons, which, as we know, are poo flingers, or just downward poopers?
I don't know what they were. They were just not Dysons.
Downward, but were they downward ones?
Yeah, they were down ones.
But did they have a movable nozzle head?
No.
Not as good. Not as good. You should go to the ones in Dublin. But did you see the video with the electronic paper towel? It's the future.
That was at Liverpool.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Well, we should go there. That's way better. So what else was happening? How was the food?
I took sandwiches the first day, so they were quite nice. And then the second day, I walked across to a chippy across the road from the station.
Wait, they don't provide food with a ticket?
No, there was food on site though. They had a canteen on the site.
How much is a ticket?
45 quid, 40 quid, something like that.
Without food in?
Yeah. That's not bad for 2 days entertainment.
No, it's not. I'm not criticising that at all. And maybe other tournament organisers need to not do. I don't know. So, like in America, I don't think food's necessarily included in the ticket, and you buy your own. And they're but they're super plush, aren't they? It's in like a fancy hotel. I'm not criticising, I'm just asking. Where some places it is provided, right? Like Bloodshed at the Shire, food was provided. Sheffield Slaughter, food is provided. If you can fight the woman who's trying to give you food, you have to fight her. Is that right?
Yeah, arm wrestle.
You have to arm wrestle the lady at the Sheffield Slaughter
to get your chicken sandwich.
Okay. So tables, space. Were you butt bumping people or loads of room?
No, I didn't rub my bum against anyone. Yeah, there was loads of room. Tables were nice. There were
battle mats,
bit of space. Battle mats.
Scenery
was there. It was fine. Yeah,
fantastic.
Great. Hills and bits and bobs. So yeah.
Oh, Fluke's a lot. Big love to you. Okay, sweet. Well then, tell me about your games.
So obviously I took the Sculpt Mob Horde, which I thought was good value, but then I was thinking about it today. I'm not so sure if it is now, but yes, it is. I think it's a good list anyway. So I was pretty happy with my list. I'd had a couple of practice games. Thought it was pretty strong.
Some pretty tough matchups.
Yeah. Last week you asked me who I fancy playing. I said Fire Slayers. So first game I got to play against Fire Slayers.
That's exciting. Who were you playing?
I played Travis, who is one of the Slayers.
Oh, well, Dragon Slayers.
Yeah,
nice, based in Sheffield.
Yeah, I think he lives in Chesterfield. He's from the States originally though. But yeah. So he had a Vostok Lodge with a big unit of shooter dudes, the Aura Cathguard, and then a big unit of Volkite Berserkers and a couple of smaller ones. And then a couple of Magma Droths, Battlesmith, and the Rune Smiter, the Warrior Kinbad as well, whatever that does. On focal points, so it was quite a toughie, I thought.
Which is like an auto win, really, for Fire Slayers most of the time. Like they normally, but it's like quite a different list, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, quite a different list. I managed to split his army using the Scuttle Tide.
Right.
So the shooters got stuck behind that a little bit. They had to walk around it. But they were really fast. The first turn, they were, because they auto run 6 and they can run and charge and run and shoot and all of that sort of stuff. So it was
very impressive.
Yeah, pretty quick. and obviously there were 2 magma droths which came running up. I can't, trying to remember what secondaries I chose. I think one of them was kill his most expensive hero that wasn't his general, so I knew it was one of the magma droths, so I made sure both of those died. I managed to kill the battlesmith quite early because he had the Nulcidian icon, which was...
So you ignore spells on a 4+.
Yeah, which was doing a lot of work. But once he was gone down, then it was a lot easier to start. And then my big unit of 60 grots went to work, and they stabbed loads of stuff, and the little units of fanatics as well started once the battlesmith is gone, and they've lost those extra armor saves.
Fanatics are really scary.
Yeah. They start smashing their way through. Yeah, so.
Wow, that's pretty cool though. Winning against 5 Slayers on focal points.
Yeah.
Nice dude.
Yeah. Travis, great guy. One of the Slayers. So yeah.
Nice.
Great bunch.
So apparently 60 grots coming back triggered the 5 Slayers. Did 60 grots die?
Might have died. I can't remember all the games where my grots died. They were, I'm pretty sure they died and came back.
Because what's important is when Nathan talks about his list, if the 60 grots die on a 4+ and he gets to roll 2 dice to do it, all 60 grots come back.
Yes.
The future. Grubda, thanks for subscribing. Okay, game 2, who you playing?
Game 2, I played Daniel White.
Oh, Daniel White.
Yeah.
Was he playing in a suit?
Yeah.
Wow. I like that. He stepping up. That's
a
thing.
He had a smart jacket, button-up shirt, a nice with long sleeves, cuffs, and all of that. How
did you feel about that?
Yeah, I told him he was pretty fancy dressed and that you would be well into it, and that I didn't give a shit.
You didn't give a shit? What, that I'd be well into it?
So he was like, well, yeah, I've heard Savo is supposedly the best dressed. He was complaining how he could be the best dressed when he was wearing sandals, and this guy turned up with polished shoes and
it's more of a
proper scarf and everything. And I was like, yeah, you guys got a different type of hobby, but yeah, sure.
Do you think we should set up a best dressed award?
No.
Nath,
what?
If I was to listen, and I mean this in all seriousness, if we were to set up a best dressed award, honest-wargamer organised it, would you happen to just want to do the admin worldwide for it?
No.
Nath?
I don't want to do admin for anything, and least of all for that.
But Dave,
agreed. Yeah.
Just talk to me and tell me. Do you fancy it at all?
Zach? No.
Oh, okay, all right. Santi, thank you for subscribing for 10 months, and All Points TV. Hello, y'all. Thanks for subscribing for 7. Anyway, so by the way, look out for Nathan Prescott's worldwide clothing awards coming soon. Also, if you want to follow Nathan Prescott on Twitter, you can see his tweet here. If you ever want to send him just a picture of your outfit that you're going to wear at a tournament, anytime.
I'll abuse the hell out of you. What's that?
Don't think you understand how this works. That will encourage them more, not less.
Okay. I'll ignore it. Good.
Dan White, by the way, who you played,
has
been both a professional magician and a dating coach.
What? Sure.
He has, according to Owen. He's been a professional magician. What do professional magicians play with? What army? I'm so thrown off being on this side. What?
Zinch.
No, but no. What did he play with?
So he had Skaven. I don't know. I thought you were asking a rhetorical question. I was like,
well, that would require no answer. Sorry. So my mic apparently is bad. I'll try and deal with that. I'm not sure what the issue is.
That's why I've always sat on that side, and you've always complained about me. It's the mic.
It could be the microphone. We have had to move seats because of a giant flood, so apologies about that. So bear with us this week, and I'll try and sort it out before we get to the actual important shit. Obviously, Nathan.
Right, so he had a Skaven list with a Bell, 2 Bombardiers, which were buffing a unit of 9 Stormfiends.
Whoa!
And then he had a Verminal Deceiver, who was the general with the Norbomb artifact. So he didn't need the bridge, basically. You can use the Norbomb to do that same effect, but better range and everything. So I think if you're going to go the 9 Stormfiends route, that's probably quite a good way to go.
Alright.
Rather than relying
What, with the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the bridge. No, you don't need the bridge. You could take the Nor bomb.
Oh, the Nor bomb?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so a Bombardier and an Engineer, then a 40 and 220 of Clan Rats, the 9 Stormfiends, the Vermintide and the Gravetide, which he forgot to cast, or he just didn't have the chance to cast them really. So this one was quite interesting because he gave me first turn, and I knew obviously the Bombardier and the Engineer were key to, well, they were massive buff pieces, but he had the redundancy because they both had the more warp power spell.
Yes. Instead of just having it in the one place.
Yeah, so you had and they were both sat in the Nor hole. And then you had all the Stormfiends around there.
You only had 9?
9, yeah.
Apparently someone this weekend had 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's actually a pretty interesting list, 18.
Yeah.
Anyway, please continue, sorry.
But, so it was, obviously teleported so first turn gave me the turn, so I teleported one of my little wizards over.
Mm-hmm.
And D6 mortal wounded did a D6? I might have used the swords actually to kill the one Engineer. Tried to put some wounds on the other, and I think I rolled a 1 or something for the amount of wounds. So just thought I'd just start chipping away at it. Got a long range D3 mortal wound spell, and maybe tried to get the Scuttle Tide in there, but failed anyway to do any damage or any significant damage. But those were going to be my targets. It meant that the my shaman was obviously exposed, so he skitter leaped his Deceiver over there, turned a piece of terrain nearby into a Nor hole, and teleported his big rats over, and then skitter leaped his other Bombardier or whatever he had there over. So, and obviously had more warp power, so they just blew stuff away. They were just, that first turn they were horrendous. But then I managed to kept on chipping away. I don't know if I killed it again that turn, but I think I managed to stop the spell, and then before long I'd managed to kill him, because that was just target priority number 1, was kill that guy. And then ended up with the Stormfiends, ended up in a fight with the Arachnarok.
Nice.
And the Arachnarok won the fight eventually.
Amazing! Spider versus rats.
Yeah, a couple of rounds. Well, obviously there was loads of magic and stuff and other stuff helping out. But this was Star Strike as well. So we rolled we rolled a 12 for the first star, the middle star.
Yeah. So,
and we were all fighting on the one side of the board, and the stars came down right on the other side. But all of his rats were strung out, so they all ended up that side, which was quite key because it meant that they were too far away from the bell to push it around. So it got isolated out of the fight, really, which was great for me.
Really important.
But and towards the end of the game, so obviously I got the teleport. The other 2 spells were stars were 9s, so they were also that end of the board.
Nice.
So it was all on that side of the board, whereas the main Stormfiend
element
was all on the other side, fighting my Arachnarok and where all my grots were. But I teleported units of grots over to that side and ended up fighting rats, and obviously grots outfight rats every day of the week. So they won that fight, and he had got he had started scoring early, but in that one he scored heavily later on, and so come later on I was all over it in that side, so I was scoring the big scores.
Do you think if they'd landed on the other side it would have been a tough spot for you?
Yeah, it would have been a lot tougher that way. Basically, I mean, he was still in the game all the time. All he had to do was just summon another Vermin Lord with the spell, and it probably would have been
Should have slightly handed some dice, shouldn't he? 2 6s.
Yeah.
So he beat Skaven, that's pretty important.
So that was pretty good because I thought the Skaven were going to be one of my tougher matchups. So yeah, and that was pretty overwhelming victory. I think I got all my secondaries there as well.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, that was great.
So who did you play game 3?
So then game 3, I ended up playing against Russ Veal.
Oh, of the Facehammer.
Yeah, the Facehammer man with his corn list with the Gaul Pilgrims and the Tyrants of Blood list. And he had some Wrathmongers in there to buff up those Bloodthirsters.
Interesting.
So I've managed, one of my practice games was against a similar list, but the guy I played against was really rubbish at Warhammer.
He'd probably lose to Giants.
Yeah.
It's how rubbish he is at Warhammer.
That's how rubbish he is. So I didn't learn anything from the game because I just killed him that quickly.
Oh.
And I was like...
That's the worst when that happens.
I really wanted to lose that game, so I knew what Khorne does. Instead, he played that badly. I still don't know I didn't know what Khorne did.
That's always the worst, when you're too good versus the people you practice against.
That's terrible.
That's hard. That's hard. Thankfully, I don't know that experience.
So
someone's asking, was it Speckles?
No.
No, because honestly, if it doesn't have a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon that's pretending to be a Terrorgeist, is Speckles even really there?
No.
That's the question.
We've got a great Speckle story later.
Okay.
But, no. So, yeah, no, it's that guy that won Facehammer or whatever. That chap. He's rubbish.
Oh, what, with the salmon cannon?
Yeah.
Well, he's playing Idneth, didn't he? He didn't really know how to play other armies.
Yeah.
You just literally just put down some dudes and go forward.
Yeah.
And then you just, lie to your opponent about how high boats are in scenery. It's easy.
Okay, well, anyway. So, I just played this too cautious, really. I was too scared of them and kept backing away, whereas I should have just been like, Grots can fight Bloodthirsters and kill them.
All day long.
So, if I just push forward. Actually, one of the key things was I got the Hand of Gorkor first turn, and got an Alpha in, but I did it with the small block instead of the big block, which probably would have been better. But I did it with the small block and some Fanatics, and badly wounded a Bloodthirster and some Blood Knights. And then the second turn, I got a big Hand of Gorkor again with the cast a nice big spell.
Yeah.
But then he used his Blood Tithe and just stopped it, spent his Blood Tithe.
Yeah.
And stopped it. And I think that was a key thing, because then that would have been the big block into his face, and then that would have been...
Would you say you would have hammered it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I think that was... He knew... I don't think a lot of people would have been sitting on their Blood Tithe to use for, other stuff. But he knew that was an important thing to do, rather than risking, even though he had the Banner Bearer and all of them nearby to try and dispel. He was just like, no, it needs to be an auto dispel, spend the Blood Tithe. And I think that just showed that he understood where the
threats were.
What place the game was at. So it was good. I mean, I had a bit of luck was hit and miss. I won a lot of priorities, but like the first turn I cast the spell, set up my little madcap in range so that he could try and nuke one of the slaughter priests with a d6 mortal wound spell.
Nice.
And so it was like, he's going to take d6 mortal wounds, and he was like, no, I'm going to unbind with this guy with a flag. I've rolled an 8. You take d6 mortal wounds. Killed my madcap. I was like, first roll of the dice, I've killed my own guy. What the hell's going on? So just made it hard from there, and so too cautious really, backing away. Didn't get a chance to try and get my 60 back because they didn't die because I was too busy backing away. So,
oh, interesting. Yeah, because it feels like you should be super aggressive with that 60 so that they come back later, right?
Yeah. Really, they should have been the ones that teleported the first time round, because then that Bloodthirster would have died, and probably all the little support guys that had on that side of the board. And
which is close to game, right, at that stage?
Well, it wouldn't have been game over, because by the end he would have had enough to summon more Bloodthirster anyway. So they do tend to get bloodthirsters back pretty quick. Actually, those guys. Because the next game I played, so I played Richard Buckler next, Paul Buckler's brother. So I played him before once, which he reminded me about. I played when Jim and I did that doubles.
Yeah.
And we played against Paul and Richard.
Really?
So it was great. So Paul never remembered us, but Richard did. So it was pretty funny.
That's cool.
When I turned up, he was like, "We've played before." I was like,
Paul Buckler?
Yeah, and I looked at his face. I was like, "Yes, you're Paul's brother." He was like, "Yeah." So it was quite good. So that was cool. And he had corn.
Oh, so this is game 4?
Yeah. So this first game on the Sunday. So he had Tyrants of Blood and Gore Pilgrims, but he didn't have any Wrathmongers. Instead, he had a Chariot and some Marauder Horsemen.
Cool.
Yeah, but this one was Places of Arcane Power, so only your heroes can claim the thingy.
Yeah.
So that meant my little grot heroes were trying to fight Bloodthirsters off of the...
I'm winning, I hope.
off of the thing. No, we didn't win.
Oh.
It turned out to be quite tight. I think going into the second half of round turn 4, he had gone first, and he was on 11 points, and by then I'd killed all the Bloodthirsters, but he had summoned another one back on. And it was just the Bloodthirster. He had just the Bloodthirster and the Banner Guy, and all I had left was a Fungoid Cave Shaman on the one side, which he couldn't really get to. His Banner Guy was near the centre, but not claiming the centre. And then he had a Bloodthirster threatening the Arachnarok, which was on the far right-hand side. And I had a unit of Grots there with the Arachnarok, and I was like, so the last turn, if I scored both of them, I'd go up to 12, and then I'd have to stop him scoring to win the game. And so it would rely on a priority. And I was like, I'll just go balls deep. I'll try and kill the Bloodthirster with the Arachnarok.
Yeah. So
I cast the spell on him for the double damage, mortal wounds, and all of that.
The whole thing?
I did everything. The problem was with this was using the stupid realm things as well, and it was the realm of light. So we were burning command points left, right, and centre.
I hate the realm things.
With this always strikes first thing. It ate all of my command points, which was I think a big thing in this game, because he always seemed to have more than I had for some reason. But
how? You're as a Grot player?
Yeah, well, I don't have Scrag Grot and all of that. And,
right. Okay.
Yeah. And anyway, so I charged in. So instead of doing the debuff stuff and falling back, forming a circle, and stopping him getting onto those, and then just
formation mushroom.
Yeah. So I decided I'd go in for the kill. As you do, because
of course,
I've lost the game.
You lost the game, so now have fun.
Yeah. So that's what I did. Charged in, and then so close, and the Bloodthirster survived. I think on 2 wounds.
Oh.
I got 3d6, 3d3 double mortal wounds through on him, and only got like 6 or something like that. With the doubles, I think. So it was just a bad roll. I thought, I've got it here, because I'd taken him right down, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure he survived on 2 wounds, or maybe 1 wound or something like that. And then he just turned around and smashed
the Ragnarok to pieces.
And that
to be fair, the Ragnarok is just a spider, and this is like a demon. Like, Bloodthirsters really, like, as much as they're okay in combat, compared to like their like narrative.
That spider had just eaten.
I'm not saying
6 storm fiends, and pretty sure the game before he had eaten Scarbrand as well. No, he shot Scarbrand to death. So he got great kill count. The old spider did. So I lost to Khorne twice, which.
What the hell? Maybe if you had some more practice with that your practice partner who plays Khorne.
Yeah, I need to find one that
I've got a Khorne army.
I've
got a Khorne army. Yeah. If you want to play.
Yeah, play somebody that knows how to play.
Yeah, I can play combat. It's not hard.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
good.
I wouldn't take any Bloodthirsters though. They suck.
they're scary as anything. They're great. That list is good. I can see why there's a lot of 4-in-1s from Khorne, and
what do you think? What do you think is it?
It's a
What do you
good
think
list.
about it that makes it not be 5-0?
I think it has got the chance to be 5-0.
Oh, okay.
It's probably just a bit short on bodies. That's all. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I still don't know the Khorne book that well, but the flexibility of the blood type thing is great. There's loads of different abilities.
I think the way that they do their, like you said, the blood tithe, and the way it's all spent, like, and it's a bunch of different abilities. I feel like all of the gods kind of favor, if you will, should be like something should like it should be better. Like I find the Nurgle one fairly ineffective and super odd because they're really fast. The Tzeentch one's kind of fine, but like again, you're just using it for summoning. Like what I like about the Khorne one is there's definitely some thought being put into its application, which is funny because of all the gods you would expect to be like adaptable and like do some smart plays. You're not pointing a finger at Khorne first, are you?
No.
I think it feels very much more like how you would expect Tzeentch to play, like shut down a spell, do this other thing. That's quite cool. So I think the blood tithe mechanic's really clever, and it would be nice if that was applied across all of the Chaos gods. I think maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think those lists always feel like they're a bit short on bodies. So if something can obviously get in there and take off bloodthirsters, then I don't know. Maybe if they can get some of the Chaos Warriors in, if they're any good,
potentially.
So,
Talking about Chaos this weekend, Nath, someone with Chaos Dwarves in a doubles event, one of my friends, Jake LeCure, the current Whomping Chaos. I say friends, like we've met. Like that's not me saying that we can't be friends, Jake. Let's be friends. But he went 5-0 with a Beast Man in a doubles event. But it's a doubles event, so never really counts. But still great.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Anyway, please continue.
Cool. And then last game was against Peter Bradley, who had Legion of Sacrament. So he had Arcan the Black and a load of those Grimghost guys with the big scythe.
Nice. Grimghost Reapers. First time you played against them? Can't be.
No,
Come on.
I think I've played against. I'm pretty sure I've played against Speckles once before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had the Mirrodin Banshees.
Myrmidon Banshees.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they were pretty scary.
Especially against because you got those other spells there.
Yeah, and he actually brought shackles so that he could cast it and then
Eat them.
spell it the next turn and buff them and stuff like that. So, which he didn't get to do, but it was he explained why they were there, so it was quite interesting. And then he had loads of the little guys, the chain rasp guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big block of 40 of them, and then a couple of little 10s. And we were playing Blood and Glory, obviously, because it's Blood and Glory. So that's mission super favours me. But then I was a bit like, you can bring dudes back, I can bring dudes back. This is going to be a real slog. And if I don't wipe you out and then
get those characters,
then you'll just grow them back anyway. So, and then they're all the characters all sat in this castle with all these banshees and ghosts and this and that, and then he just castled up around one objective, and it was just like, it's going to be a minor either way. Who kills who? I was like, oh great, this is going to be tough nut to crack. But then he put 2 small units of Grimghost, the little guys, chain rasps, on the other objective. So I teleported a unit of grots over there, small unit 20 grots versus 2 units of 10 chain ghosts, and I flew my Thermal Rider Cloak guy up as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Thermal Rider Lubos. Someone in one of the YouTube comments, by the way, last week was like, I'm sorry, I don't know who it was. It was like watching Nathan explain, like being Rob, like, why has he got Thermal Rider Cloak? And you're like, oh, so he can fly. Yeah. He was like, it's the best moment I've ever experienced watching. And I was like, I'm none the wiser, but sure. So he flew up. How useful was the Thermal Rider Loom Boss?
It was great. In the game against Russ, he could have won that game if I'd been a little bit braver with him, because he was just.
You're never not brave. What happened?
I just got ready. I don't know. I'd been up just played that game really badly. Really, really badly.
That's fun. I like that because that means you were putting thought in trying to win. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So anyway, in the game against Russ, he nearly snuck around the back and would have fought some Blood Warriors and probably nicked their objective because there were only a couple left. So
one loop after the erratic.
It was great. So in this one, he flew up, landed on a hill, and then the 20 grots went, and so he was close enough to give the 20 grots the reroll charges and the fanatics. And the fanatics got in because obviously they're only a 6-inch charge.
Yeah.
And then he managed to reroll the charge on the grots, got them in as well. And the fanatics just... So 10 chain rasps, whatever they're called, have got better save against fanatics than a bloodthirster. Fanatics went crazy though and killed them like twice over, did like 20 damage. If only they had done that the games before,
they would have been great.
Instead, the games before they were doing like 5-6 damage.
Come on, boys.
So they were just a bit swingy. So they wiped out the thing, and them chain rasps sat on the objective. So I'd nicked. So now I was in control of 3. He had another 10 unit of 10 things. So in his turn, those 10 charged my loon boss on the hill.
Nice.
He just turned around and killed 6 of them.
What, one loon boss?
Just like, he was like, oh, I didn't know he was that good. I was like, I didn't know he was that good either.
What did he? Really stepped up to the mark.
He's super great. So he fought them, and then he flew back onto my far back objective, and then my rest of my army sort of like circled up around him. But by doing that, he sent out his Meridian Banshee things to go and
disrespectful to Ghost, but okay.
Try and take the objectives back off of them. So they went into the grots, didn't kill them. The loon boss was there. He's told them, "Don't run away." Then he ran away. They retreated back onto the objective, but I'd snuck my big unit of 60 up. So they were within range.
How do you sneak 60 grots up?
Quietly.
Okay, good.
So they went in, and the 5 fanatics came that had killed the banshees. They circled back around, and they smacked the heck out of them banshees, killed them all. So now I was up on kill points by a whack, and because he hadn't killed anything, he hadn't wiped out any units. So now I was on for the minor victory. So I could have just sat back, but I thought now I was in a great position because I had him encircled. So I moved up, charged the Arachnarok in, and the big unit of grots onto the side of the big unit of scythe guys, Grimghost, whatever they are.
Yeah, perfect.
Big ghosts.
Yeah, big ghosts.
Gave them a right big kicking. All the time, every magic phase, by the way,
I went up to them ghosts. And they gave them a right big kicking. Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
All the time I've been chipping away at Arcan.
All right, okay, he was there. Cool.
With spells, yeah, he was sat behind. And then, anyway, so gave those ghosts a good kicking, but didn't wipe them out. But also I had
which is important.
Yeah, because then they just all grew back, but he grew them all back around the Arachnarok, because he had drawn casualties out so that the big block of grots were out of combat, so he couldn't draw them back into combat because you have to. So he went around the Arachnarok, but it turns like if you put any minuses on those ghosts, they become absolutely useless.
Also, if they're not fighting, if they're fighting single models, they're rubbish. Like so a good one. Like I always use my Torok to tie him up because he's naturally -1 to hit. Fly him in. If I put Geminids on, he would stand in like 30 Grimghast Reapers just all day long.
So the spider was obviously had sneaky distraction on him.
Had moves.
And also I'd got the Geminids off. So he just tanked that round of combat. Then in my turn, I retreated the spider out and charged a big block of 60 because he had been pulled forward onto the spider. He had left a gap between him and the chain rasp behind. So I just charged the big unit of 60 into the chain rasp who was sat on the objective. Finished off Arcan just as Speckles walked up to the table. He was like, "How's it going?" Arcan's dead. just as he walks up, I roll the dice. He's dead. And he's like, what? His favourite model ever, dead.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, congratulations.
So, that was great. So then, yeah.
So you won the game?
Yeah, so I swamped the chain rasps and separated, used some spore splatters to charge in and stop the big ghosts from charging in and trying to get into my lads. And so, yeah, so I had taken all three. He had meanwhile teleported. He had a harrow or something on a horse.
Dreadblade Harrow.
Yeah, which could teleport. It teleported back over, so it was him versus the loon boss. He smacked the loon boss, killed it in a one-er. So he had that back objective. But I just ran some sneaky snufflers and they just stood there and took it off of him without fighting.
Classic sneaky. Yeah.
So there you go. So yeah, I managed to win on the. It was quite an interesting game though. Because it was like trying to break down a really big castle.
That army is always like super challenging to deal with because effectively you have to hit the front line but also get them characters at the back, and it's never as easy as it seems.
Yeah. So it was like last turn, and then it all clicked together. I was lucky with a priority roll that I could take advantage of the hole that had opened up, and that the chipping away at Arcane had worked out so that he only had 2 wounds left going into the last round, but it took like 5 spells and some grot archers and all sorts of stuff.
The whole thing?
Yeah, to get rid of him. He snuck away into a corner. But yeah, got him.
So overall, did you have a great weekend?
Yeah.
Like, it's been a while since you went to, you've been to a 2-dayer.
Yeah. The last one I went to was Adepticon, but I don't think I really played that one properly because I was...
You had several apple juices. Did it give you inspiration to go to some more? So you've been helping me loads this year with doing the coverage, so you haven't had as many weekends. Same with John, Scrivens and all the guys. Everyone's been giving up their time to help do the coverage. So are you looking forward to any more?
Yeah. I'll try and get to a few more, definitely.
Because we're going to play Warhammer on Sunday, you and me.
Yeah.
So excited. So that's fun. All right, wait, Ace. So then I saw you came 31st. Everyone just has told me everything about you. Everyone's like, he's come 31st. But you had a great time?
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
It's good.
Only
3-2, 2 losses to Corn, which...
Weird. Yeah.
Which I think my army can normally deal with. I do think on that hero mission, obviously, that's a bit tougher than the other ones. But, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I think, looking back at both of them, I do think I could have played. I didn't play very well in either of them. I could have played differently.
Okay, well that's good. But especially if it's not the list, if you just think that there's something...
Yeah, I think the list is good. I'm still not sure if the formation is worth it. Because obviously it does restrict you to taking 3 units of Fanatics and the 3 units of Grots. The
Fanatics let you down over the weekend.
They did sometimes, but they are great at what they do. That being able to teleport over and have a 6-inch charge with something that's fairly scary, that should be putting about 10 wounds onto something with a 4-up save.
Yeah, I mean you can't argue with that.
So it's quite good, and then obviously they're backed up by Grots, who quite often get into that because the flying loon boss is there to help them re-roll that charge as well.
I just realised that you and me both did the same thing. We both have flying generals.
Yeah. You and your little flying smith thing.
Yeah, my demon smith. Yeah, because I always took him with a thermal rider cloak to keep up with the Kadai. Yeah. Now I see it. It makes sense. Why didn't you tell me that? It's like, why, dude? Yeah, because you keep him up to use all the command abilities, right? Yeah.
So.
What's flying? It was Nathan had a flying loon boss with a thermal rider cloak. So one of his artifacts was a small crop character.
Yeah, it did confuse a few of my opponents a few times.
That's nice though, because things like that can put people on tilt. They're like, why? Why is that?
Why is this guy flying around? What's he doing?
Yeah.
So it was pretty good. But yeah, so you pay 160 points for that formation, so it's quite a lot. And if you think about it, it's giving you back half of your 60, so it's 30 grots. Which, if you pay 130 points, you get 20 grots, which come back as half of them will come back, so that's 30 grots. So you're really paying 40 points then for an artifact and
And a command
point, which obviously is worth it, and also having the flexibility of bringing the dudes back is quite good. And obviously you don't have to take so many models because you just recycle the 60.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you don't roll the 4-up, even though you have 2 turns of it.
Well,
which did happen to me in the second corn game, which I think was quite pivotal, failing the double 4-up.
Yeah. So you roll 2 dice 4-ups. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, like I definitely can see. Like I really like some of the battalions that are currently being put out in the battle tomes. Are like really solid, right? Yeah. They've got some real harsh structure on them, or they don't really give you anything. But it's like, oh, do I pay 80 points, 90 points for a command point artifact? Kind of. Yeah. There's obviously the drop situation as well.
So it reduces my army to a 7 drop as well, which probably won me the last game. Maybe.
Because you were able to get up into his grill first.
Well, I know. I gave him the turn and he wasn't able to do anything. But then, even in that scenario, you're waiting for the end of turn 2 anyway. So.
All right, that's a fair point. Okay. But good weekend. Any shout-outs you want to do to anyone? Great. Just everyone?
Everyone. Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to everyone.
Shout out to everyone. You also told me about a fun Seraphon list.
Oh yeah, they were. So there were a couple of times there were redraws, but the one time I was supposed to be playing this Seraphon player, and I was chatting with Daniel, the Skaven player, and he said that he had just played him.
Magic Dan.
And he said he had a really interesting list. It was based on Saurus warriors.
What?
So teleporting them, and then using the command ability so that they reform. So you can reform them 3 inches or something like that. So it reduces your charge anyway. The Slan can obviously make them fly. Is it the Slan or
It's command ability.
It's the Star Priest, isn't it?
No, the command ability.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you make them fly, so they can fly over screens.
Interesting.
And then they've moved that bit closer anyway. And then there's all the Saurus Old Blood.
You can make them reform.
So get them closer after they've teleported.
Wow.
Because it's in the hero phase, and then they charge, and I think you can get +1 to charge as well from one of the things. Is it the Fang?
Fang's and Zotek. Let's go for that.
Like that. And then also the dudes on the Carnosaur, their command ability stack, so you can make it so that I think
you can just keep pumping out attacks.
They're every 6 explodes or something. So it turned out that he flew them over a screen into a unit of Stormfiends and just virtually nullified the whole block.
Wow. With Saurus warriors.
Yeah.
That's never been said. No one's ever run Saurus warriors.
It sounded like, I don't think he finished that well at the end, but it just sounded like...
And was unique, right?
Yeah.
Something interesting. Talking about that in the chat, Lone Trade Plays just saying that Pterodan, who we saw do so well at Bloodshed in the Shire only a week ago, he went 4-0, but then he had to leave at his last game. So so he didn't he didn't get to do game 5, and it was again maybe he just was like, do you know what, game 5's not for me. I'm just going to do 4-0s and leave. That's my plan. That's awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, cool event. I wish I'd have gone, but I definitely have enjoyed I enjoyed the rest. I didn't rest necessarily. I did a lot of work, but I'm very pumped because this weekend coming, I'm doing some practice games and fun, and then we're doing coverage at Crimbobo, and then we are doing coverage at I'm going to play in Northern Ireland. So I'm actually going to go play a tournament myself. So I'm very excited about that. So 3 weekends of Warhammer coming up. So I'm pumped about that.
Lots of people come up and said hello. It was just great.
Yeah. I mean, people are lovely. Great, All right, sweet. Okay, good. I was very excited. I was living for it, to be honest. People were sending me pictures of you and messages, and I was living for it. I was so gutted I couldn't be there, to be honest, because I just anyway.
And Geminids are bent.
Yeah, tell me, because you hate God. Tell me, because I bang on about it all the time. Tell me how.
No, they're just super strong. I mean, A couple of games I didn't get to cast them. So, but when you do cast them, it's just
Why not take? Why take anything else?
They're so good. Yeah.
So good. So good.
Bad. Yeah.
Herminator's got, hey guys, got any tips for new players getting into the tabletop? Absolutely, Herminator. If you go to the honest-wargamer.com, there's a book called the what did I call it? The workbook. You got a workbook, so I wrote that, and that will help people
structure yourself.
Yeah, that will give you some like new tips, and then there's that, and then there's lists already on the Honest Wargame website as well. So that's a good kick-off point as far as I'm aware. And you can also ask questions obviously as well. And the Facebook groups are generally good for that. Ish. Okay. I'm going to start recording now. So we are now. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host Rob. Rob and Nathan are going to review. You're going to eat our dinner. And we are going to review the Ogor Mawtribes book. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Would you say you're ravenous?
I'm gluttonous, that's for sure.
MJ Pegasus, by the way, said I resisted Geminids for so long, but just wants to be included in every list I write now. So if you're listening, by the way, on Twitch or Facebook or YouTube, big love. If you listen to the podcast, I've just kind of started it here. So big love to you guys as well. Thank you to everyone on Twitch who subscribes, everyone on Patreon for the show. How's your chow mein? Tasty?
Yeah.
Tasty. Right. Okay, so I spent the day. Let's go. Everyone on Twitch excited? Let's do it. I spent the day researching these. I've got, and this is just a first pass.
Yeah.
Some looks. I've even done some funky things. I've done some Build-A-Bears of different units. I'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So Haywo, I'm super excited about this. He says I'm more than 3 inches away from this show, which means he's hungry. So I'm going to go through some of the first bits, and then we're going to. So we'll just crack on. We'll crack on. Okay, so scenery piece, which you get for free, so you're always going to take it. It's the Great Morpot. So basically, it gives you +1 for casting or dispelling to friendly wizards within 1 inch of it.
Oh, that's great.
It is kind of. Also, it's full or it's empty. If it's full, what you're able to do is basically use it, and every ogre unit within 36 inches, so keyword ogre, heals D3 wounds.
Oh, great. Is that at the start of the hero phase?
I actually don't know. Upon doing so at the start of your hero phase, yeah. If you, by the way,
36 inches is big.
36 inches is huge. Also, if you kill a unit, or maybe it's even a model, I'm pretty certain. Is it a model or a unit? Haywo. But basically, if you kill a unit or a model, I'll get confirmation on that in a second. Within 6 inches of it, then the pot becomes full again.
Nice.
Because you chop them up. Model, thank you. So it's within a model.
Yeah.
So you kill a model. So which is super easy. So my first thoughts, and it's an enemy model as well, obviously. So my first thoughts are plonk that right on an objective. Yeah. Obviously you can't put it right next to an objective, but just work out where your opponent's going to be coming from as close as you can.
Yeah. Get
it so that they're going to need to be near it. Davidian NL says enemy model can't lob a Noblar in there, which I would love to do. Unless it's an enemy Noblar, good point. So that's so heal D3, and if you can organise it right, maybe you can heal D3 more than. I'm going to get to this, that I don't think that that's particularly great. I think the process to cast is way more important, personally. I think it's nice. It's a nice additional thing, and some terrain pieces are like, meh, it's not bad. I'm not trying to say it's terrible. But
what happens when it's empty?
Nothing. You can still get the pluses to cast them, but basically it's a once per battle thing unless you can fill the pot up again.
Oh, okay. So it's once per battle heal until it's full up again.
Until you fill it up again, exactly.
Okay.
So
you get to choose when to empty the pot to heal everybody.
Yes. Yeah, you get the choice. So it's honestly not that bad.
Yeah.
But when I talk about the army later on, the pluses to cast Oscar Lars points, I agree with that. To cast and unbind is the good part. But when I talk about the army later, I personally, anyway, I don't think it's. So you have already talked to me about this, that you think that maybe it's an MSU army. So it kind of makes sense. But really, where, do you often see much chip damage? So the ogres have generally got 4 wounds each. It's great if you're taking a bunch of monsters. yeah, or even Mournfang, more on that later. They might not be terrible, but you do have to cast a spell. I don't know. I think it's fine. I would spend too long talking about that, but it looks awesome, so I'm in for that. So they got battle traits. So they got Trampling Charge. So after an Ogre or Rhinox unit makes a charge move, you can pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of the unit and roll a number of dice equal to the unmodified charge move. Yeah, sweet. So if you roll a 10, you roll 10 dice. Add 2 to each die if the unit is a monster or has 8 or more models. For each 6+, you deal a mortal wound. So if it's a monster, you roll a 10, you roll 10 dice, and every 4+ will cause a mortal wound. Obviously, straight away you go to Stonehorn. And absolutely, the Stonehorn is a wrecking ball with this. I'm a big fan of that. And even the Ogre Balls. Like if you've got a big unit of 10, or 8 or more, basically, you can do some more wounds. Decent, extra damage, right? Yeah. So that's cool. But I think these, I like it because you go in, you do the damage. Sweet. Issue is, some points someone's going to hit you back. That's where you're going to fall down, in my opinion, in this army book. So we'll talk about that. So you got the Grasp of the Everwinter. At the start of your hero phase, roll 1 dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any beast, clay, or raider units. Yeah. If the roll is equal to or less than the battle round, they take D3 mortal wounds. So not too bad. It's so interesting doing OCR Bone Reapers this week and this. There's one of the two writers is everyone around you at the end of the combat phase take D3 mortal wounds on a 4+, and you're like, there isn't normally loads of stuff around. Normally a thing's dead, or how good do you think that rule is? Because it's not great, but anyway. You got Might Makes Right. When determining who controls an objective, Ogre models count as 2. Ogre monsters count as 10 models. As 10.
That's 10. I didn't realise that. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Halo says, that's the exact response. Play with Everwinter as well. But so that is good. Yeah. That is good. But when we get onto when you build your army later on, depending on what build you go for, I personally think that's less important. Apart from the monster part, the Ogre Balls, fine, but the monster part I think is really important and a nice addition. Cool. I think for an army. Anyway, okay, so. Then you've got, this is cool, you've got ravenous brutes, just like you are eating your curry now, not curry. So an ogre is either hungry, or it's eating. What's happened to this? It's either hungry or it's eating. And if it's hungry, it means it's more than 3 inches away from the enemy army, so you get +2 to your movement.
Right.
Because you're hungry, you're like, But if you're next to them and you're eating, you get +2 bravery. Sad face.
+2 bravery is fine.
Yeah, +2 bravery is fine. +2 bravery is fine.
I mean, you don't need +2 movement if you stood on their toes.
Good argument as well. Yeah. Bill Robertson says either hungry or eating. I can relate. With that said, Nathan, let's partake in a small bit of food.
Yeah.
For the ogres. Oh, that's congealed. That's horrible. Anyway, and that applies to all ogre models as well. Anything that keyword ogre, or ogre models. So those stone horns now are going to be moving 14 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that include the Yetis and everything?
Yeah. So they're going to be moving 11 inches because Yetis move 9. They can run and charge, so they can be fast.
Yeah. Well, Yetis can pile in from 6 as well, can't they? So that's great.
Yeah, and they can also. There's also an ability to make them run and charge as well. So you can have a real fast army.
Yeah.
Yetis are not ogres. Sad face. Okay, never mind. Ignore that. Apologies. Yeah. Okay. So those are the. So it's fine. +2 to move. But we talked about this a little bit before the show started, didn't we? Movement 8 is great. It's not movement 16 though. So at best they're medium speed. At best. So I just like that said, that I'm not a huge fan. Alright, so then you've got command traits and loads of other stuff as well, which is where, sir, let's do War Scrolls. Before we do anything else, let's do War Scrolls. Yeah? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read the best war scroll in the Mawtribes book. In my opinion, obviously. You know, someone this week, did you see someone threaten to punch me in the face? Not threatened. They didn't threaten. They made a joke. That's what they said. He was like, when Rob Simon said that the Mawtribes book was rubbish, I wanted to punch him in the face. And I was like, hey, my friends want to do that all the time anyway. It's fine. So, the best war scroll in this is movement 5. They've got 1 wound each, and they have a 6-up save, and they are bravery 4. And their narrative is: devious little creatures obsessed with scooping up scrap metal and other detritus. Noblars perform a variety of tasks for their ogre masters, including charging into battle in a vast screeching mob. So they've got a weapon, they've got sharp stuff. It's got 1 attack, 4s, 5s to wound, no rend and 1 damage. And then in battle, in close combat, they've got a motley assortment of weapons. 1 attack, 5s and 5s, no rend, 1 damage. However, one model of this unit can be a groin biter and add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the model's motley of weapons, and you can add 1 attacks to the characteristic of this unit's melee weapons while it has 10 or more models. Now you buy them in 20s, and you buy them in 20s, and you can get 60 for 270 points.
Wow.
And the reason I wanted to jump onto this first, before we talked about anything else from the book, is because if you then start to look at some of the other abilities that they have, for instance, you score extra for objectives, and you're like, okay, but I can put 60 wounds on the board for 270 points, which is cheap. Yeah, like, that's cheap. And then, so the Tyrant's got a command ability, so we'll get to that in a minute. He can punch a unit for D3 mortal wounds, so even if it's 3, still got 57. Then they're immune to battle shock.
Oh, can you do that to the grots as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's very, very cheap. And what's really important about this army, in my opinion, is that it's not, again, when we talk about the movement, about being hungry. So maybe on your Stonehorn, like, that's flying, or your single piece, that's really, really good. But I don't think you're going to take like a first turn run and charge army, because number one, you can't get lower than 3 drops. Like someone's pointed out in the chat, there are some suspiciously pink and dangerous models out there that are going to want to chop off all your fat and turn it into depravity points. You move 8, but you're not going all the way across the board. And your Stonehorn's definitely like a missile you can throw in, and we'll talk about that in a bit. You can build a gangster one. But these guys are your bread and butter. I think you want to do screens and hitting, screens countercharge, screens shooting. There's no way that these aren't going in eventually every list. Maybe you're taking 3 lots of 20. Maybe you're taking 1 big block of 60. You're just going to make it immune to battle shock and just, but it's just the unit, in my opinion. And also 60 of them with 2 attacks each. So 120 attacks, 5s and 5s. I agree that's not like brilliant, but you're going to get something through eventually. I think it's bullshit. Battle shock immunity, 60 wounds too, and he doesn't need to be alive any longer for the buff to last. So it's for the rest of the battle when he does D3 more wounds. And Ibredwell says, I would punch a bunch of Noblars turn one. And also, if you just be 50 points down, have that 1 command point, if you've got that big block of 60, they're immune to battle shock that first turn anyway. So I just don't see why that's not the first thing you look at. Well, I guess that's not true, because the issue is when you actually look at the rest of the book, you think, but I think when you actually include the Noblars, the book goes up a whole level, because you're putting them out, they're being your screen, they're doing the job, and then you're doing all the good shit after them. And you're definitely never including, I forget their name, the guys who eat like us. Gluttons. You're not putting gluttons in the list because they suck, in my opinion. But we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah. Okay, so Noblars, best war scroll in my opinion. They could be alpha stuck and die, says Captain Andrew. So the propagation says, I refuse to paint 60 of those Muppet face little shits, which I think is fair. Dave Fraser says, luckily the playtesters will have reported it and tested will have proved it's fine, super fine. Also the Tyrant model is awesome, needs to be fielded. He is fantastic. So let me know in the chat, by the way, as we go through what you guys think, because I know some of you have had the book for a while, so I'd like to get your thoughts. But I think Noblars. Can you see what I mean about it?
Yeah. For 100 points, 20 models is just great.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think this army needs those screens because even even that movement 8, you're not doing a first turn charge.
Yeah. But you've got the movement to take advantage of the midfield a lot, which is where a lot of objectives are. And if you can screen them out with the little dudes, then you can stand that far back.
I also wanted everyone who's listening to this super excited about running ogres to hear the best war scroll was Noblars.
You can stand that far back that you should be, but you've still got enough of a threat range to get stuck in. So that's great.
Yeah, and you also remember when grots were that cheap, like actual grots that you have.
Yeah.
To be fair, grots have always been more punchy than these guys, like in close combat. But like there was a reason that grots went up like beyond the 300 point. 60 wounds, even with a 6-up save. Yeah. Like you're gonna for 500 points, you put 120 wounds on the board. It's like clear that. You're like, oh, flip. So anyway, Nobblers can also be -1 missile attack in their own territory in the winter bite, which is true. It's a counter-charge army now, or always really was. Well, I actually don't think it is. I think it's a gunline army with a screen, but maybe with some counter-charge. But you've got some nice options. Okay, next up, War Scrolls. Yeah. So, would you like to talk about the wizards? Because then we can talk about the spell laws. So, super. Ready? We're going to do a butcher.
Cool.
Okay. So you got the Gulping God. So he's got 7 wounds with a 5-up save. Move 6. Now don't forget, if he's next to that Morphlot, he's going to be getting +1 to cast. Now this is what's really awesome. In close combat, 3 attacks with his Tenderizer. 3s, rend 1, 3 damage.
Cool.
Yeah. And his Cleaver in close combat, so you either have the Tenderizer or the Cleaver. 3 attacks, 3s, rend 2, doing 2 damage. Yeah. And he's got his Gulping Bite attack as well. So all ogres have got a Gulping Bite attack. So it's 3s, no rend, 1 damage.
Okay.
Roll dice each time this model successfully casts a spell, or successfully casts or unbinds a spell. On a 2+, you can heal 1 wound allocated to the model. On a 1, this model suffers a mortal wound. So really good because it means like not as good as the Art Regent who just heals 3. But what's really cool about that is that obviously he's just going to be like harder to chip damage away.
Yeah, he stood near his pot and he should be healing up a couple of things, maybe a turn, maybe. So yeah,
and 7 wounds, so not bad. And then he's got his Vicious Maw spell. Voracious Maw has a casting value of 7. If the successfully cast, pick an enemy within 18 inches, take the D3 mortal wounds, roll dice on a 4+ D3, and then keep going. So
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
like, but yeah, and then next to his pot is going to be an 18.
Yeah.
This guy, by the way, is going to be like a shoe-in for a Bellwind Vortex, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he only casts 1 spell, and he only unbinds 1 spell. He's 140 points, so like
until he's on that
Bellwind. Yeah.
Then he
casts another.
Yeah.
So I mean, cheap enough, and a decent combat unit as well. Like, I just think it's a shame that he doesn't cast 2 spells because he's quite beefy, right? Yeah. I think that's a little bit of a misstep. But the Voracious Maw is a fairly good spell.
How many points is?
He's 140 points. And he's also got access to their spell lore as well, which we'll go through in a minute.
Okay.
In fact, actually, let's go through the spell lore now.
Cool.
If that's all right with you.
Yeah.
So, the Law of Gut Magic. No, Captain Andrew, no what else is 140 points? The Grey Seer. Yes, and the Grey Seer is infinitely better. I'm trying very hard. I'm super underwhelmed by this book. Yeah, super underwhelmed. But what I am going to do is focus on the positives and what you might be able to do with the book. And that's why I think straight off, I don't want to tell anyone you have to go and get 120 Noblars. Maybe you don't have to get them, but you have to get 40. And you might have to get 60. To make this army go from maybe a 2-3 army to a 3-2 army, maybe even a 4-1 army. But then, are you asking me, can this army book, based on what I've read today, be a 5-0 army? No.
I don't think so. No.
But we'll see, and I could absolutely be wrong, right? And also, good point, Eyebrow. If you do it comparison to a book that came out this weekend, thanks Eyebrow, by the way, 140 points for a Soul Mason, 2-cast wizard who just flat heals 3 wounds to a model, which is the OCR Reaper's one. Okay. So the law of gut magic. So you got a Flesh Crave Curse cast on 6 unit within 12 inches. So terrible. D6 mortal wounds. However, that unit gains an attack for taking mortal wounds on their melee weapons until the start of the next hero phase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you buff the enemy unit.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, then you got Blood Feast, cast on a 7. Pick a friendly ogre unit that is not a monster and that is wholly within 18 inches of the caster, and it is visible to them. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of that unit's melee weapons into a next hero phase. So fantastic. An ogre unit that is not a monster and that is wholly within 18 inches, plus 1 attack on all their melee weapons.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, fantastic. And then the first thing you think is, I'll go to Ogre Gluttons. Yeah, is what you think. But I'll put a pin in that. I disagree. But we'll come back to that. Yeah. It's also cast on a 7, and you have to be wholly within 18, which is not too bad at all, especially frontline.
Yeah, I mean, if your pot is on the 12-inch mark, and your butcher stood in front of that, and he's doing 18, and then they're going to move 8 from there. Yeah, that's virtually anywhere on the board, maybe.
But it's only going on what? It's only going on 1 unit, right? So again, you and me talked about MSU earlier. So I think that's Blood Feast is that kind of like, well, I'm going to want that on the big block for that economy of scale. But the guys in the chat saying, I think that makes sense if you do it on Mournfang or if you do it on
Iron Guts.
Yes, I think you want to do it where you get the most value.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then you got Ribcracker, cast on 7. Pick again, really hard to cast. OCR Red Bone Reaper spells, 5s, 6s, super easy to cast. Pick an enemy within 18 inches of the caster, invisible to them. Subtract 1 from save rolls for attacks that target that unit until your next hero phase. So cool.
So we can give extra pip of rend really against that unit.
But the issue always
it's
is
not wholly within 18. It's
just within 18. But there's no issue. However, and that's cool. That's a great spell, especially if you look at the Gluttons, because they obviously want to be they've got no rend on their attacks, so that's an issue for them. However, you can get some pretty good rend in the army where you need it. So, like, is that what you go to? Like, and your wizards, as we've talked about, they cast 1 spell. Like, is that the 1 spell you want to be cast? If they could cast a bunch, but and there are ways to make it so you can have a casty heavy army. But then, so then you got Blubber Gut Stench. Now, Blubber Grub Stench is the one-trick spell pony, in my opinion. So cast on a 5. Until the start of your next hero phase, a friendly Rhinox units are treated as monsters for the purpose of the trampling charge trait, while they're wholly within 18 inches of the caster. Yeah.
So they're doing their mortal wounds on a 4-up, basically.
Yes, they are doing their mortal wounds on a 4-up.
That's quite interesting. Rhinox being the shooty guys.
Rhinox being Mournfang.
Oh, okay. Mournfang and Iron Blasters.
Yeah, I mean, yes. But I think the important part is the Mournfang, because as we talked about, and it might be worth talking about that Mournfang now. So you've got 6 wounds each, and they're a 4-up save. They move 9 inches, so when they're hungry, they're going to move 11. So that's pretty fast. And their bravery 6, which is a little bit of an issue. Oh wait, are they not Rhinox? Never mind. I didn't check the keyword. Okay, never mind. It's just on Iron Blasters. That's the only Rhinox unit, so shit. We'll move on. That's fine. Apologies, everyone. I got really excited. I was like, there's way for Mournfang to be good. Next book. Shit. I was so excited for them. So Blubber Gut Stench is a terrible spell. So
unless you're going with Iron Blasters, it's great.
Maybe.
I think the Iron Blasters want to be getting up in your face anyway.
Do you? Why?
So they can shoot and charge things.
Sure, you and me think very differently about these things. Okay. Well, so there is a way. You can take 4 Iron Blasters. They're fairly cheap. And starting next hero phase, friendly Rhinox units are treated as monsters. So it will be all of them. So you could potentially do a ton of mortal wounds on the charge. Nah, it's not very... Like, how does that mechanically work? Like, what? So they hit the Noblars.
4 of them.
So they hit the Noblars.
On on average are
So 7.
Yeah.
So you're doing three. You're
So
doing 3.5
28.
mortal wounds per one.
yeah. So it's 28. So it's 14. So you kill a keeper if you charge 4 of them into a keeper.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, and just for doing the charges.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad, I guess. And there's a good Iron Blaster build as well.
Yeah. You shoot the other one, and then that's it. So now you've only got one left to deal with.
Yes, and because of the Iron Blasters, they have to come forward. All right. Yeah. All right. Fair point. Well made as well. Okay. So then maybe, but then that means again, are you taking the Rib Cracker? Or are you taking Blood Feast? Like you've got some good spells.
You got to take. Yeah. You got to take a Balewind, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Hey, we're so sorry, Fang. Maybe in the next 4 years. Angry face. So, Molten Entrails. Pick a friendly Ogor Mawtribes unit wholly within. It's a monster, wholly within 18 inches of caster. To the start of the next hero phase, add 1 to the damage characteristic of the melee weapons used by the monster's mount. By that monster's mount? By that character's mount, basically. The +1 damage. This one's great, especially if you're building the Nuke Stonehorn. And then you've got Gracie Deluge. Pick an enemy within 18 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that by that unit until the start of the next hero phase. So
what's the range of that?
18 inches.
Okay.
And double that up with
Geminids.
Yeah. Obviously, but then your issue is because he's a level 1 caster. So you put him on a Balewind because you want 2. Yeah. What are you picking really? And then even then, like
it sounds like you're going to need 2 casters if you're going to.
So potentially. So let's look at the other casters, right? Because only so that's the Law of Gut Magic, and you've got the Slaughtermaster, right? Who's also another wizard, yeah, who casts 1 spell in your hero phase and can attempt to unbind 1. This is where we get into a kind of a weird place, Nate.
How many points is he?
Yeah, that's a great question, my friend. So the Butcher that we just talked about was 140 points.
Yeah.
But the Slaughtermaster is also 140 points.
Oh, okay.
The issue is they've got the same wounds, characteristic bravery. The Slaughtermaster's not that much, is no better in a fight. Like, he's worse, in my opinion, actually. But this is where it gets silly. Because he's got Blood Gruel, roll dice each time this model successfully casts or unbinds a spell on a 2+ you can heal a wound. So he's got the same spell, but he's also got the Great Cauldron, which is, in your hero phase, you can say this model will reach into its cauldron and feast on its contents. If you do so, roll a dice and consult the table below. You've got Bad Meat, the model suffers D3 mortal wounds, that's a 1/1. 2, Troggoth Guts, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to this model, and you can heal 1 wound allocated to each friendly ogre unit within 12 inches. But the good stuff, Spy Marrow, which is a 3 to 4, so a third chance of getting it every time, is add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by that unit until the start of your next hero phase. So it's pretty decent.
What's the range of it?
Huh?
What's the range of that?
A friendly ogre unit wholly within 12 inches. Okay. And then you've got Bone Crusher, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 6 inches of this model. On a 4+, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. But why would I take the other wizard?
For the more.
Maybe for the more. But is that enough for, that +1 to hit could be amazing.
Yeah, but then eating a whole thing, a whole unit is also pretty amazing.
That's fair enough, and definitely a reason to take both. Which, by the way, I love this book, because if you don't think about the rest of Age of Sigmar, this book's great. There's just a bunch of stuff, and you think, okay, yeah. It's only when you talk about the rest of it that it's a bit of an issue, in my opinion. The Slaughtermaster can't go on a Balewind because he has a crew. Because he has a crew? I thought it's just the monster is the only reason you couldn't put someone on a Balewind. It's the only reason that I know of. Unless anyone's got an FAQ different. So you could go on a Balewind if you wanted to.
What's the crew?
Huh?
What's the crew?
Where's the crew? Yeah. So the Slaughtermaster's great, obviously. Now, obviously, the Spy Marrow, pick a friendly ogre unit holding within 12 inches of this model, add on to hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by that unit until the start of your next hero phase. So you can buff them and send the unit off to go do its damage. Yeah. And +1 to hit is fantastic, especially when we talk about the Stonehorns, because they can do some amazing damage, and they want +1 to hit on some of their 4s to hit attacks. So I think I'd get it. I'd take them more as well, and they're pretty cheap, right? They're like we said, 140 points, so they're not bad.
Yeah.
They're not good though, are they? As wizards,
I think they're decent. Did you say there were ways you could buff them as well?
yeah, you can take them in a tribe.
Oh, in a tribe, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's those.
Isn't there another wizard?
There is a final wizard, the Fire Belly.
Can he also cast spells from the?
No, so he's got his own spell lore.
Has he? Oh,
He has got his own spell lore. I'm being positive. Is what
How
I'm
many
being.
points does a firebelly?
That's a great question. Let's talk about it. He's 120 points.
No,
Yeah.
cheapo.
He is a cheapo, yeah. So, by the way, he doesn't have the Beastcore Raiders keyword, nor the Gutbusters keyword, but he does have the Ogre keyword. So, he's got a breath attack. So, he's got 7 wounds, 5 up save, so exactly the same as the other 2 wizards. He doesn't move as fast, he moves 6 inches. He's got breath attack, which is 6-inch range. Bit difficult. Do not use the attack sequence for the breath attack, but pick one enemy unit that's within range of the attack and roll a dice. On a 4+, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Like, it's a waste of my time to read that rule, let alone a waste of someone else's time to write that rule. 4 years we've been waiting. I'm underwhelmed. Are you whelmed?
4 up D3 mortal wound shot.
At 6 inches.
So. It's not anything special.
So I use it on my Demon Smith, but my Demon Smith's 100 points. He's got 4 up save. He's a wizard, but really importantly, he does D3 mortal wounds in 6 inches on a 2+. So it's super reliable. So I love it when people charge my Fireglaves or my because I countercharge with these 2. Like I normally have 2 Demon Smiths and they stand next to each other. So I'm like, right, I'm probably going to do 2d3 mortal wounds into that. Sometimes I've done nothing, which is stressful. But 2d3 mortal wounds. This is like, it's not even reliable.
Yeah, the 4 up thing is a bit.
Anyway, so he can cast 1 spell and none by 1 spell.
Oh.
He's got a Cascading Fire Cloak, cast on 6. So you roll 1 dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of the caster.
Yeah. Sure.
On a 4+, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Spore more.
In addition, if this spell is successfully cast, add 1 to the save rolls for attacks that target this model to start next hero phase. Start on a 5+ save.
So you got a 4 up save if he wants. He's got a Mystic Shield, but only for himself.
Only for himself. And it uses his spell to make him have a Mystic Shield.
What's his lore? Has he got anything good in
He does
there?
have his own spell lore. Let me just go to it.
That must make up for it. That was bad.
Thank you. Can you be the one that like poo-poos the shitty rules for once? Because I always sound like a knob.
Knob.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's super fair. Hold on. Right. I'm trying to find it. Sorry. The Law of the Sun Eater. At least this entire book has got really radical rules. So, Fire Belly only. Fire Belly.
Yep.
Fiery Whirlwind is cast on 6. Pick an enemy unit. Roll 1 dice for each one of that unit that's within 12 inches of the cast and visible. On a 4+, it suffers 1 mortal wound. And if the unit only has 1 model, you roll 3 dice. So a Horde Clearer.
Yeah.
Right, not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. 12 inches is a bit short, but it's not that bad. Yeah.
But it's not good.
Well, it's decent. I mean, it's again, if you got that Balewind, which sounds like you might do, you can pop him on it.
I wish I could buy 3 Bellwinds for an army.
Do his thing, and then he can jump off of it, and somebody else can jump on one.
yeah. Your game 8 is like, oh, thanks. It's been stressful up there. So you've got Billy and Ash. Now they've cast on an 8. So obviously, if you're near the pot,
Must be an important one.
Until the start of your next hero phase, subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks that target friendly units wholly within 12 inches. Incredible. So -1 to hit, AOE is awesome. Just run him up with your army if you're taking a kind of like a frontline army, and then just everyone's -1 to hit. Awesome. Cast on an 8, you're never going to get it off. It's not as good. It's not that you're never going to get it off, but you don't have any pluses to cast that make it reliable enough versus the strong anti-magic that's out there at the minute. So I just don't think. So then Tongues of Flame, pick an enemy unit within 5, that has 5 or more models within 18 inches of the caster. Until the start of your next hero phase, each time that unit finishes any type of move, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Which is quite good. Cast on 6, so you're probably going to get it off. 18 inches, pretty decent. neuter unit, but it has to be 5 or more models, so it's not going to be those monsters. So it's only going to be those like elite-ish units, and I struggle to see which of those elite-ish units that we're targeting. If you can think of a Gorgrunt, no, 3 models, Ardboys. But then do they care about even 3d3 mortal wounds?
No, it's probably aimed at those Ossiarch Bone Reaper dudes, the ones with loads of arms.
The Stalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just for them.
Jimmy 1080 says Benny Hill music played as ogre wizards rotate through the Bellwind vortexes. Myth and Ra says still better casting than Sylvaneth. Listen, now we're getting into it. You can play the Sylvaneth and Ogor Mawtribes book against each other, and you could just be having the best time. You'd be like, this is Age of Sigmar
Deluxe.
Deluxe. That's a much better description. So did any of those take your fancy? Did you like any of them?
Oh, is that all of them?
It's only got 3.
The Horde one's quite good. The other one, they're quite situational, the other one.
It cast on at 8 though.
What, the Horde one? I thought it was 7.
No, it's cast on 7 if you're near the maul pot.
Yeah.
It's an 8 to cast it normally.
It's quite tough.
Yep. So none of those, basically, is what we're saying. Okay, so those are your wizards, right?
Yeah.
However, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go quickly and talk about the Blood Gullet Mawtribe. So I'm going to try and make it all make sense. I know I'm jumping around, but it should work. So this is your tribe with your 3 rules. You just go, all my army is Blood Gullet now. So Heralds of the Gulping God, Blood Gullet Butchers, so Butchers only, know 1 additional spell from the Law of Gut Magic. In addition, friendly Blood Gullet Butchers can attempt to cast 1 extra spell in your hero phase. So
that's great.
That is great, always, like for free.
Yeah.
Command trait is called Nice Drop of the Red Stuff. Friendly units that start wholly within 12 inches of the general at the start of their pile-in or move. Start of their pile-in move can move an additional 3 inches when they pile in.
Oh, that's great.
That's fantastic.
Really
Absolutely
good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you've got command ability Bloodbath. You can use command ability at the start of the combat phase. That's just the command trait. So you have to take a command trait.
No, the extra 3 inches, is it only on ogres? Or?
Friendly units that start... No, just friendly units that start within 12 inches of general.
Yet he's piling 9.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cool.
Then you got... But they still have to be within 6. Yeah. Command ability, Bloodbath. You can use command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Blood Gullet Butcher. And to the end of that phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by the friendly Blood Gullet Ogre Gluttons that are wholly within 12 inches of him. So the general, 12 inches of him, all of the Blood Gullet Ogre Gluttons are going to be re-rolling their wounds, but that's fine because you won't have any in your army. And then you've got
wounds.
Re-rolling wounds.
That's great.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you've got...
With those other spells, that's great.
Okay. And then you've got... It is, but you've got to get the spells off, man. They don't just work on their own. They're not just like an immediate threat. I don't know. Okay. Oscar Lars Paint says, I know what will make my Mawtribe a top tier army. Alain and El Guzzler Gargan? Correct. Because when you're eating, you also want to be...
Drinking?
Drinking.
Putting stuff in your pants?
Yeah. So then you got Splat. So you got Artifact Power, Splat Cleaver. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons at the end of the combat phase. If any wounds are inflicted on the enemy models and not negated, you can heal up to D3 for each friendly Blood Gullet unit wholly within 12 inches. So it's fine. It's whatever.
So you can heal your oil guzzlers. That's great.
Yeah. So you got the ability to have those casters cast 2 spells if they're in the Blood Gullet Mawtribe, and because their spells are so beneficial army wide to your army, right? +1 attack, -1 rend, -1 to hit, like your opponent. So they've got some great spells. So they're frontline battle wizards. They're decent in combat, apart from they've got no save. They've got a 5-up save. So you can do some decent stuff with them. The issue is, as soon as you move away, you are moving away from... If you're moving up, you're moving away from the pot, which gives you your +1. So your casting's a lot less reliable.
It's only with 1 inch of the pot, isn't it, to get the +1?
Yeah. So I just don't. Anyway, but you can take with those wizards because we might as well talk it through. I think, and just talk on the wizards.
Do you have wizard artifacts?
You do, absolutely, bro. So you got the butcher. Let me just get it. So you got the traits of the butcher. So there's some that I've picked out. Right. So the questionable hygiene and Herald of the Gulping God we can skip. Growling stomachs I've written as red, so terrible. But you got 3 good ones. You got Gastromancer. This general knows all the spells from the lore of the gut magic.
Cool.
So if he's in the Blood Guts, as we said before, on a Bellwind, he's casting 3 spells. He needs access to 3 spells to do so. Then you got Rolls of Fat. Add 2 to the wounds characteristics of this general.
Nice.
And then you got Spell Eater. Each time this general dispels an end of spell, you can heal any wounds allocated to them. If this general has no wounds allocated to them, oh no, you wouldn't be able to, because if you're in your general wouldn't be able to have this trait. He wouldn't be able to know all the spells and be in the +1 to cast tribe, because he would have to have.
Yeah, he'd have to have the other trait.
Yeah, each time this general dispels an end of spell, you can heal any wounds allocated to them. If this general has no wounds allocated to them, you can instead add 1 to their wounds characteristic until the end of the battle. In addition, each time this general dispels an end of spell, they can cast an additional spell that turn.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
How rad is that?
Yeah.
Right. So, by the way, I've designed some. I think it might be in there, Nate. If you, in fact, I'll find them for you. I've designed some characters. So then you've got the Butcher's Victuals. So they're his I don't know what you call it. Artifacts. Perfect. Yeah. I do know exactly what you call it. So these are my Mawtribe dudes. Just once. So we'll talk about those in a moment. Oh, never mind. So you've got Dracoline Heart. Once per battle, at the start of your hero phase, you can put the Dracoline Heart in the Maw pot and fill it up. Yeah, which is fine. You got the Shrunken Priest Head. Roll dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the bearer. On a 5+, that mortal wound is ignored. Pretty tanky. But the ones that I like are the Wizard Flesh Apron, which is the bearer can cast 1 additional spell in your hero phase. So already great.
That's great.
Yeah. And then the Blood Rock Talisman, which is add 2 to the roll when the bearer attempts to unbind or dispel an endless spell.
Oh, that's really good if he takes that other trait.
Really good. And then you've got. So I designed. I don't know if you guys are excited by this, because I am. So I'll find it on here for you. You did lose it. Sorry, dudes. It was meant to be all more set up, but then we ended up eating. No,
because we're hungry.
So I designed Magic Mouth. So this is my butcher. So you guys should see it on the screen right now if you look. So I've given him Spell Eater and obviously the Blood Rock Talisman. So each time he eats another spell and heal any wounds he's got, and then if he did, and then put him on a Bellwind also, by the way, and then just make him unbind his own Bellwind after the first turn.
Oh yeah.
Because then he's casting it again, so then he's net gain, and he's like, but then he gains an extra wound.
Yeah.
And then have the Blood Rock Talisman, and then add 2 to the wound rolls when the bearer attempts. So he's just unbinding under spells and just getting Tonka and Tonka,
fatter and
fatter, yeah, and he's just doing it because if you can cast an extra spell, you can unbind another spell.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it works. I don't think I've read that wrong.
Yeah.
So
that sounds right.
So he's just there, just like eating spells and becoming the strongest guy ever. And I'm like, I was working out earlier. I was like, how many wounds could this guy like end up having? Halo says, sweet, you've made a butcher able to do a Bellwind squatting exercise for no tactical gain. That is true. However, I am reading this book, so often most of my choices are for no tactical gain. But I like the idea that he's doing this. So I think. Oh yeah, each hero can only unbind 1 endless spell. Remember that's the little rule that no one knows. Each wizard can only attempt to unbind 1 endless spell. Right. Dispel 1 endless spell.
Oh, okay.
I've ruined it. Never mind. I mean, you can still do it over turns.
Yeah. So you can gain, by the end, you'll have gained 5 wounds and be casting 6 spells, 7 spells.
No, because he only gains it that turn, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, thanks, Stephen AOS.
Yeah.
Never mind. Well, then, we'll have to go for my next special spell, the Fat Flinger. Yeah, this is my other butcher variant. Yeah. It's not your fault, Stephen AOS, it's the rules. R.I.P. Butchie Man. So this guy has got the Gastromancer, so he's the general, he knows all the spells on the Law of Gut Magic.
Yeah.
And I've given him, obviously, the Wizard Flesh Apron, so the bearer can cast one additional spell in each of your hero phases. And then, obviously, I've put him on a Balewind Vortex. So he could be casting, if you put him in that other thing, casting 3 spells, knows all the spells. I just thought that was cool. But anyway, I probably shouldn't have spent so long doing this. Now I've actually written it, just said it out loud. It's just easier to do than a picture. Doesn't matter. That's neat. Anyway, so that's the magic law, right?
Yeah.
So then should we talk about the gluttons?
Go on then.
They've been a glutton for punishment in this combo. So 4 wounds each with a 5-up save. They move 6 inches, so if they're hungry they'll be moving 8 inches, and they are bravery 6. Obviously in close combat they're going to become bravery 8. One model of this unit can be a crusher, you can add 1 to its attacks. 1 in every 6 models can be a bellower, which is they subtract 1 from the bravery characteristics for units that are within 6 inches of bellowers. So, and then you've got 1 in every 6 models can be a standard bearer, and you can either be a skull bearer or a tribal banner bearer. Skull bearer, you can reroll charge rolls for the unit, definitely the one you're going to take. But the tribal bummer adds 1 to the bravery characteristic of the unit while it includes any tribal banners. So you can get fairly brave. They can go up to bravery 9, decent. And then Lookout Noblar. Any tribal banner bearers in this unit can have a Lookout Noblar, and you roll a dice each time you allocate a wound inflicted by a missile weapon to a unit that includes Lookout Noblars. On a 6, the wound is negated. So, fair. Yeah. Fine. And then you got okay, so let's talk about the weapons. So every ogre, by the way, has got a gulping bite. 1 attack, 3 threes, no rend, 1 damage. There is a weight above that, but that's fine. An extra little attack. So then they're clubs or blades. 3 attacks, 3s, no rend, 2 damage. And if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a pair of clubs, so if you take a pair, is a 6, the attack inflicts 2 hits on the target instead of 1. So to hit roll of 6s. But you can, instead of having a pair of blades, you can have a blade and a fist. And if the unmodified save roll for an attack made with a melee weapon that targets a unit armed with Iron Fist is a 6, they suffer a mortal wound. Okay, and they are 400 points for 12, or 400 points for 12, or 120 points for 3. So, what are your thoughts?
So 120 points for
3,
so
400
it's 12 wounds with a 5-up save, with 12 attacks, doing 2 damage.
9 attacks, 4 attacks, 3 attacks each.
3 attacks each.
And they've got the other 1 bite attack. It's got no rend.
9 attacks.
3 threes, no rend, doing 2 damage.
So 12 wounds, 5-up save, and then potentially 12. So how much max damage?
Oh, so max damage out of that unit would be 18.
18. That include the
No, not including the bites. Including the bites, it'd be 21. Oh, and the leader, sorry, no, it'd be 24. No, 23, because the leader can have an extra attack. Thank you. The crusher.
I mean, it sounds like, for the points, that sounds like a fair price. So, and they would count as 6 models on an objective.
So they do, so one of the things I didn't get to finish today was doing it like a statistical comparison to Phoenix Guard, which are just only 60 points more. So much better.
60 points more.
Yeah, for a unit of 30 Phoenix Guard. Now, so for a max unit of 12, so let's do the comparison between 3 and 12. So for a max unit of 12, it's 400 points. And then you're going to get 48 wounds with a 5-up save. And then you'll have 3 attacks each. So you'll end up with 36 attacks, 3s and 3s, no rend, 2 damage. So it's a lot of attacks, and it's a lot of wounds, and it's going to count as 72. It's going to count as 24 models to score. Now, there are ways to buff these guys, and we will talk about that in a minute. But I'd like to move on. And also the attacks, plus 12 attacks also from the bite. So you'll have 12 attacks, 3s and 3s, no rend, 1 damage. And for battle line, you think, yeah, all right, fair enough, like they're battle line units. But I'd like to talk about lead belchers and why that they're just better every time. So, in my opinion, and this is without the buffs, before we look at anything. So, lead belchers are move 6, so all the same profile. Move 6, 4 wounds, 5 up save, bravery 6. Can't buff their bravery, right? One model unit could be a Thunderfist. You can add one to the attacks characteristic of the model with a bludgeoning blow, which is their combat attack. And then you've got Thunderous Blasters of Heavy Hot Metal, which is, if they stand still, they do D6 shots instead of D3 with their lead belcher gun. So they're only 12-inch range. D3 attacks, 4s, 3s, rend 1, 1 damage. And they've got their bludgeon in close combat. There are only 2 attacks each, 3s, 3s, rend 1, unlike the Gluttons, damage 2. And they've still got the bite attack, so it's exactly the same. Now, for 400 points, I get 10 lead belchers for my Gluttons. Now, what I can do with my 10 lead belchers is I can sit them behind my Noblars, and I can fire away. So I'm down 8 wounds, but I've got rend on all my attacks, and I can shoot you if I'm not fighting you. So if I could, like, the Gluttons are like, I've got to fight Keeper of Secrets. Like, good luck. Or a Ghoul King on Terrorize, or anything. Yeah. Like, they've got to definitely kill it to survive. Whereas these guys can be like, well, I'm going to shoot them a bit and then charge these. And I just don't see how they're not.
Yeah, they just sound like they do better outputs, definitely.
Well, it was the amazing thing when you and me talked. The only reason this is so reminiscent of my Chaos Dwarf book is me and Nath a year and a half ago, maybe now, I was playing a lot of Chaos Dwarf games against Nath, and Nath has been a long time dispossessed player. So the thing that you talked about was because I had a bunch of they're so similar. They're not called Fireglaves. The other ones I forgot so much. Whatever. There's a melee version of Fireglaves which I've currently forgotten. But they have spike shields, which are on 6+. You cause a mortal wound back. Super cheap, 30 wounds, 4 up save, 240 points. But every time I play Nath, he'd just be like out of range. I'd be like designed to die or like get hit to do my real damage. Whereas as soon as I put the Fireglaves in that just shot, then I was in the game, and they were like 60 points more, but it was just infinitely better. And I just don't. Can you see what I'm trying to get at with the conversation?
Yeah, they're a lot more flexible, and they can do a lot more stuff, can't they? So,
exactly. Yeah. The Gluttons also get the reroll charge standard and the 6+ DPR against shooting, and they also get the multiple hits on 6s with clubs, so their output can be pretty solid. I'm not saying that Gluttons are bad.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm trying to say. But if I'm spending 400 points on a unit, I would take the lead belchers over the Gluttons all the time. Because if I wanted to hit something, I would choose the Iron Guts. Because I'd want to hit something. 4 wounds each with a 4 up save. Way better. Move 6 and their bravery 7. They've got 3 attacks each as well. 3s and 3s. But now you've got rend, and they've got 3 damage flat. And they've got their Gulping Bite attack as well. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic for that model's mighty bashing weapon, so another extra attack. 1 in every 4 models can be a bellower, so subtract 1 from the bravery. You got the Rune Maw. 1 in every 4 models can be a Rune Maw bearer. If an enemy unit fails battle shot test within 6 inches, another D3 models run away. And in addition, each time a unit with a Rune Maw bearer is affected by an endless spell, a spell or an endless spell, and a 6+, you ignore it.
Pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty good. But then you've got down to the Iron Guts. Once per battle in your hero phase, if at least 1 ogre model from your army has fled the battle, you can use this ability. If you do so, you can reroll hit, wound, and save rolls of 1 for this unit until your next hero phase.
That's pretty situational, but yeah, I mean they're just pretty solid. How many points are they?
The Iron Guts. Yeah. So the Iron Guts are 220 points, and you have to take a minimum of 4.
Oh, so that's 4 models though.
That's 4 models for 220 points. So if you compared them, the Ogre Gluttons, you would, for 240 points, which is a little bit more, you get 6 models.
Yeah.
But they'd have 8 wounds with a worse save. But these guys are just like the punch.
Yeah.
And they do flat 3 damage with rend of 1. It's crazy. So yeah, you're gonna have 12 attacks out of this unit, 13 with the boss, 3s and 3s, rend 1, 3 damage, and you might get 3s rerolling 1s, 3s rerolling 1s, rend 1, 3 damage. That's your unit. Like, they're the guys who are going to smash face. So I would never go, like, you really got to, I don't understand the Glutton's role. There's a better combat unit, and there's a better kind of, like, battle line.
Yeah, how many points are the man-eaters?
Okay.
Because they're also in that same group.
They are, same job role, yeah. The other thing about Iron Guts is, though, is so good is the range 2 inches, which is what they also have on their weapon. And they can, because they can swing over Noblars. Yeah? Like, it's just...
Everybody can swing over a knob.
Apart from McGraw. So then the man-eaters. Sorry, let me just get this right. So the man-eaters have got 4 wounds, but they've now got a 5-up save. Oh, not maybe they now have. Maybe they've always had. I've never researched it.
Okay.
But so the Iron Guts are way better armoured. Well, way better armoured +1, but still, like, it makes a big difference, in my opinion. Move 6, and their bravery 7. They've got their pistols and throwing stars, which is 3s, rend 1 d3 damage, but 1 shot.
Yeah.
12 inches. So, okay. And then they've got the slicers and bashers, which is 4 attacks, 3s, rend 1, 2 damage. So an extra attack over the Gluttons, rend over the Gluttons, and they've obviously got their gulping bite attack. Then you can, before the battle starts, you can pick a special ability. You've got been there, done that is the special ability. So you've got Brawler Guts, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons. Pretty good when you hit on 3s. Crack Shots, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with missile weapons, that unit. Fine. Striders, this unit can run and still later charge in the same turn.
That's great. Nice.
And you got Stubborn, do not take battle shot test for this unit. So not bad at all. But they are 180 points for 3. For 3.
Yeah, so you've got quite a variety on the points there. If you want to mix and match stuff up, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because they all do slightly different roles, but then you can, you've got a over 200 point mark. You've got an just under 200 point mark. But
then I don't think that Ogre Gluttons do anything.
Yeah. You're probably looking between the Belchers, the Iron Guts, and the Man-Eaters.
Yes.
Just depending on...
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even got yet to, like punch, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we've got these are just some of the basic units before we even go any further. So, I think that's really interesting. And don't forget, like, with the +1 attacks, like, if I'm going to add +1 attack, I want the one that's got rend 1 and doing 3 damage. I don't want, you've got weight of dice on the Gluttons, but I want them on the Iron Guts, right? I want them to have 1 extra attack each. Mm. That's pretty horrifying. That's basically an extra Iron Gut in the army. And ignoring spells on 6, it's not nothing. And I just think they're better, in my opinion. Right, some of the other War Scrolls that we've got, which are quite interesting. Sorry, I'll talk about 2 different units. Iron Blaster.
Yeah.
9 wounds. Pretty cool. 4+ save, movement 7, and don't forget it's a Rhinox unit, so it can get that spell. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by attacks made with this model's Rhinox sharp horns if this model made a charge in the same turn. So +1 damage. So that means it's got 2 attacks, 4s, 3s, rend 1, doing d3 damage. So d3 +1. Yeah. Fine, but 2 attacks and it hits on a 4. So you probably you might, but you can't rely on it, right? And then you've got some Noblars, 2 attacks, 5s and 5s. And then there's the fella on the top who's he's got 3 attacks, 3s, rend 2, doing 2 damage. But then the cannon, the bit that you're here for, and these guys are cheap, 120 points, super cheap. Yeah. 1 attack, 24 inches, and it moves 7, so it's going to be 31 inches effective range. 4s to hit, super sad face. 2s to wound, -2, doing d6 damage. But so that's on the long range one. In the short range one, it's 12-inch range, 6 attacks, 3s, rend 1 damage. I wouldn't be looking to do the hail shot if I didn't have to. I
don't know. I think if you're closer up, it's more reliable, isn't it? 6 attacks.
Yeah.
3s -1. Like you say, rolling a 4-ups is a bit hit and miss.
It is, but so I talked about that, and I'll talk about the Noblar Scrap Launcher. Again, move 7, 9 wounds, 4-up save, 6 to 36-inch range, 3 attacks, 3s, 4s, no rend, d3 damage. is their shooting profile basically. But you can add 1 to hit rolls and increase the damage to d6 if the unit's got 10 or more models. So 3 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounded on 4s, no rend, doing d6 damage, which is cool against plague monks because of the no rend, but is not going to help you with witch elves. It's not going to help you with fire slayers. And again, that's 120 points. I just don't think that's the answer when you could be doing the lead belchers and just putting some stuff in, right? Encore James says, I'm going to prove Rob wrong and run 2 units of 12 gluttons. Baby, the whole point of this show is to prove me wrong, right? Yeah, get involved. And these are just my initial thoughts.
I've seen some people that I think are decent players talking about units of 12 gluttons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just looking at it top down before, there's still weeks to talk this through. These are our first looks, right? So this is where it gets cool, Nate, because you can have a tribe, and who doesn't want a tribe? Like the TV show The Tribe, which I'm sure you've watched.
No.
So
you can have a tribe as an extra. That's the thing that we were talking about before. The ones that were buffing the wizards.
Yeah. So the Underguts Mawtribe, which is a different tribe. Yeah. And this, in my opinion, is probably one of the strongest elements in the book.
Yeah.
So lead belcher guns using the so they've got gun mastery. That's their battle trait. Lead belcher guns used by Underguts lead belchers have a range of 18 instead of 12 inches. So you've got a couple of roofs falling in. Caution, everyone. So you've got you screen the Noblars. You've got your 400 points of lead belchers behind there. Now they're shooting 18 inches, which means your opponent's coming to you. Yeah, because you're shooting away at them, you're hitting them, so they're like, right, I need to go deal with them.
Yeah.
Move on to there. Then you countercharge with those iron guts. I can see an army build now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see something that you can play with. Then you got the command trait. Subtract 1 from the wound rolls for attacks made by missile weapons that target its general. Could be very cool. A command ability, Thunderous Salvo. Use this command ability at the start of your shooting phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Underguts hero. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of range weapons by Underguts Iron Blasters wholly within 12 inches of the Underguts hero. You can only use the command ability once per shooting phase.
Oh, so you can get 2 cannon shots or extra.
For each one.
Yeah.
So they're 120 points, so you can spend 480 points, which I did. I haven't got my notes with me. I worked really hard on this today. So you can 480 points, so you can be doing those 8 shots. So against something with a 4-up save, you're only going to be doing 11 wounds, like when you go through all the hits into wounds and stuff. But that's close, and that's enough of a threat.
Yeah.
It's a big point sink, and
it's quite scary to a keeper or something like that.
Exactly, right? So they're going to come forward.
A bloodthirster, that sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
sorry, it's +1 attack.
+1 attack
to their melee. So then, when you're doing the hail shot, that would be 7. But then you'd be maybe tempted more by the cannons then at that stage. So.
But then that plays exactly how you want to you could then cast that spell that lets all those rhinos charge. So then you've got the counter charge. So you don't even need to put in your Iron Gut unit if you don't want to, for example. Yeah. Although I think you would. And you've got an army there. Lead Belcher's sitting off, pinging away. These guys are shooting pretty long range. You're like, right, okay, actually I feel pretty threatened now at this stage. By this army, I'm going to go towards it. Yeah. You're hitting those Noblar screens. That's an army build. Is it a good one? I don't know.
Yeah, sounds like it. Decent too.
Yeah, right. It's a thing. So then you've got so that's the command ability, and then artifact power, Noblar Blast Keg. This is super cool and also great modelling. Once per battle, at the start of your shooting phase, you can use the Noblar Blast Keg. If you do so, pick 1 enemy unit within 9 inches of their bearer that's visible to them. Roll 6 dice, add 1 for each roll for every 10 models in the target unit. On a 6+, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Cool.
All right.
Suicide grots.
Bill Robertson says, you're forgetting the giant meaty ogre dice. The cannons will hit every time with those dice. Halo says, imagine 400 points of 10 lead belchers shooting your anvil men for 2 damage. Total per turn from 18 inches away of the tribe. Now I'll stay on the objective, thanks. Yeah, that's the thing about the lead belchers is they can just sit onto like I think what Haywo's saying is that they're not going to do the damage that we're looking for, and he's right. They're not. Like it's not brilliant. Like even if they don't shoot, so your 400 points of lead belchers compared to your big unit of 12, so that's 10d6 shots. So that's 35 shots, and then it's I didn't even mention that. It's 4s, 3s, so 36, so it's 18. So it's 12 are going through, rend 1 against a 4-up save, which means only another third are going through. So you're only getting 8 wounds through. 8 for 400 points. You're like, oh man, it's not great.
Yeah.
But you know, it becomes a lot better when you're shooting out. No, it doesn't become a lot better. It's not great. It's not great. Yeah. And are you better off MSU and lead belchers? Maybe. What's nice about lead belchers?
Does the champion get extra attack.
Yeah,
melee attack.
But what's important is when they get into close combat,
yeah,
they're not that much worse than the.
Yeah, they're not bad, are they?
Yeah, they got
rend and a couple of damage. So yeah.
Yeah, it's 3/3s, rend 1, damage 2.
Yeah.
So they can be shooting and fighting. You've got 2 sets of attacks out of this unit. Like you basically, I don't know. I see them as like what are they called again? Gluttons version 2 that you just pay more points for with an added gun.
Gluttons with guns.
Yeah. And Haywo says they aren't, and Haywo is a long time. He's looked at this a lot more than I have, so a big love to him. And also, I'm hoping he likes the book. They aren't shooting unit; they're an alternative glutton cloud with less melee damage but utility. But they don't have much worse melee damage. And if you give them that +1 extra attack, 3 attacks each, 3/3s, rend 1, 2 damage is a scary profile.
Yeah.
Like it's just Phoenix Guard are better. As our Iron Guts, as our Mortek Guard, like everything that's come out is better in every way, shape, and form. Like, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try and play with it.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm trying to get at.
Definitely.
So that's most of the actual Mawtribe stuff, Nath, with the exception of. So we've done almost all of it, but we need to talk about the Tyrant and the Gorger. And I know you're a big fan of Gorgers. So Gorgers are 5 wounds each with a 6-inch move and a 6-up save. They've got 4 attacks in close combat, 3/3s, no rend, 2 damage, and they obviously can do a bite as well. But this time it's 3/3s, rend 1, d3 damage. Pretty decent. But instead of setting this unit up on the battlefield, you can set them up off the board. If you do so at the end of your first movement phase, you must set this unit up on the battlefield more than 9 inches. You must set this unit up on the battlefield if you do so at the end of your first movement phase. Oh no, I didn't read that. 9 inches away from enemy units. And then you can reroll charge rolls to this unit. I mean, it's nice to make them turtle up on the first turn.
Yeah, how many points are these?
That's a great question. Here I go. Tony, by the way, only just updated War Scroll Builder, but big love War Scroll Builder. He did that today. So it's updated if you're trying to write your lists. I'm just finding it, bro. Sorry.
That's fine. Because they're like little distraction pieces, aren't they? They're just going to ambush and threaten those little support characters, the small backfield units. So
yeah. 80 for 1 is what they are.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but if you're taking them, you're taking a hunter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, so they're fine. And then you got the Tyrant. So he's got 8 wounds. He's got a 4-up save, and he moves 6. So this is the Ogre Tyrant.
So he's moving 8
when he's hungry. Yeah, moving 8 when he's hungry.
Or moving 12 if he's got a thermal rider cloak.
Yes. Exactly. So he's got these Ogre pistols, and then he's either got the glaive, a Thunder Mace with a Beastcure glaive. Oh, so he's got. Oh, sorry. Is he? Armed with a Thunder Mace, Beastcure glaive, Gulping Bite. Yeah. So he's got 2 attacks with his pistols, 4s, 3s, rend 1, d3 damage. Good. 12-inch range.
Yeah.
Nice little bonus. Almost as good, by the way, as an Iron Blaster. And then you've got Thunder Mace, 3 attacks, 3/3s, rend 2, 3 damage. And then you've got the Beastcure glaive, 2 attacks, 3s, 3s, rend 1, d3 damage. So
it's got quite a few attacks.
He's got the Gulping Bite as well, 3s and 3s. Yeah. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the Beastcure glaive targets a hero or monster is a 6, does d6 damage instead of d3.
Nice.
Pretty good. And then you've got the Thunder Mace. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the Thunder Mace is 6, the attack inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition. If the target is through more than 3 models and it's a 6, you do D3 mortal wounds. So it's got potential. But you're not. It's not anywhere even the same as a Mega Boss.
No. How many attacks with the mace? Sorry.
With the mace, he's got 3 attacks.
3.
So,
I mean,
see you later, Haywo. You look after yourself.
He's about the same points as a Mega Boss, then I assume.
So he's 160 points.
Yeah, similar.
Right, but 8 wounds with a 4-up save is decent, and obviously he's got the access to. So at the start of the game, you give them a big name.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen. This is going to happen at army list writing, or you'll be able to choose it every turn.
You can do it every game. It's the start of the game, isn't it? Not. Yeah.
So you've got Death Cheater, an O unit. So you've got a wounds characteristic of 9 instead of 8. You've got Brawler Guts. You can add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made this model if it charges that turn. Yeah. Dr. Vulcan says the best ogre list is Iron Jaws. Hashtag awkward. We haven't got to the other bits yet, but yeah. You got Fate Seeker, definitely good. 3-up save instead of a 4-up save. Longstrider, this model has move characters with 8 instead of 6. Not bad. Thermal Rider Cloak. How fast are we going now, Nath?
Yeah, 8, so
12 inches.
Plus another 2 for being hungry, so 14.
Not bad. And add 1 for damage inflicted by Giant Breaker by this model's weapons that are used to attack that target a monster. It's fine. And then War Crusher, you can reroll wound rolls of 1 for attack made with one melee weapon each time this model attacks. In addition, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by melee weapons in this model that target a unit that's part of a garrison. And also, I'd like to do a big shout out to Nick Thompson, who's the only person who's ever tried to garrison something on me in a game of Warhammer, which shocked me to my core. Have you ever had anyone garrison a unit?
No.
Okay. You can do that in ECMAR.
I should do it more often.
You should. I'm going to do it every game with him in Northern Ireland. I'm like, going to garrison this unit. And just watch someone be like, what? Right, so let's talk about the Tyrant, right? He's got his command ability. Pick a friendly Gutbusters unit within 3 inches of a friendly model with this command ability. So you have to be super close, punch him, D3 mortal wounds, immune to battle shot for the rest of the game. Yeah? Pretty gangster. So if that command ability wasn't there, I'd never take this model.
Yeah.
Because he's 160 points, which is cheap, but he's not, right? Like, he's fine in combat, but then I'm halfway to a unit of lead belt, not lead belt, which is Iron Guts, which is more wounds, more output.
Yeah.
Like, what's his job? But the command ability, I feel like if you're taking the Noblar screen, you almost have to take this guy. Or sit on your command points, because thankfully, most of your command ability sucks, so you got something to do with that.
You want to find other stuff to do.
Yeah, so that's a positive. So yeah, his command ability is called Bully of the First Degree, which is pretty cool. So that is all the kind of like more tribesy stuff. I built a cool special dude. I've called him Beefcake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my build for an ogre tyrant, Beefcake. If you look on the screen, so he's got the command trait Prodigious Girth. Oh, I haven't talked about those yet. Sorry. Which is add 2 wounds to the general's wound characteristic. Because I wanted to try and make him. I was thinking about you, Nath, and I wanted to make a more smashy one.
Yeah.
But it really isn't a way to make a more smashy one. So I decided to make him more tanky instead.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's got +2 wounds. So he's now got 10 wounds. And then his big name is Fate Seeker, so he's got a 3+ save. But then I've given him the Flask of Stonehorn Blood. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, the bearer can use this artifact. If they do so until the end of that turn, roll dice each time you allocate a wound or a mortal wound on a 4+, that wound or mortal wound is negated.
Cool.
That's Beefcake for you. How do you feel about Beefcake?
Yeah. Sounds like he's got the Guardian's Coronet.
Yeah.
Also known as the Flask of Stonehorn Blood.
So that's Beefcake. He's fine. Sorry, I need to talk about the command traits. I got a bit carried away there for these dudes. So, let's go find them. So the Tyrant command traits of the Tyrant: heal D3 wounds Fine. Add 2 to wounds.
What, heal D3 every turn?
No, start the hero phase. If the general's eating, so he's in combat, you can heal D3. Okay, but like he's add 2 wounds to general's wound characteristic. I feel like this review I've done a lot of. Yeah, it's okay. I don't mean to be so flippant, but like when you read something that doesn't have much of an effect, it's hard to. Killer representation. Before this general was set up for the first time, you could pick a second big name.
Oh, 2 big names.
2 big names. The second big name cannot be the same as the first. So you can have a 3+ save with an extra wound.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then you've got Mighty Bellower. If enemy unit fails a battle shot test within 6 inches, add D3 to the number of models that flee. Could be cool. You don't have a lot of ways to debuff bravery though.
No, but you've got the other thing as well that adds D3. The rune more, so it could be 2d3 extra dudes running away.
Could do, but then you still need to make them fail the shock.
Yeah.
Then you've got Eye for Loot. You can reroll hit and wound rolls to this general that target a hero that has an artifact of power, which is not bad because a lot of the characters that have artifacts of power are coming at you. The scary ones that are in melee, and then the other ones that, like Vigor Dust Injector as an example, they're all the way at the back of the board. So, is it good? No. And then Crushing Bolt, General has treated as a monster for the purposes of trampling charge. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Plunder of a Tyrant. Thunder Mace has a damage characteristic of 4 instead of 3. So, that's Head Smasher. Then you've got Grawl's Gutplate, add 4 inches the bearer's move characteristic while they're hungry instead of 2. Oh, yeah, big name, extra move.
Yeah.
But then that's the same as Thermal Rider Cloak, but Thermal Rider Cloak flies.
Yeah.
Gruesome Trophy Rack. Add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Gutbusters units wholly within 12 inches of the bearer that target a monster or hero.
Maybe. Depends on the meta at the time. That's not bad.
Agreed. Gruesome.
Melee weapons.
So Puke Jack is saying that obviously the really good thing about this is you can add +1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Gutbuster units holding within 12 inches of the bearer that target a monster or hero. So you put that on your Iron Blasters, which are shooting on or hitting on 4s with their shotgun.
So it's not only melee weapons.
No.
Okay, that's great then.
Yeah.
3's double shot. The 2-shot guys.
2-shot. So this general can be that guy.
Yeah.
So then they're hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, with 2 shots each.
No,
so that's
I'll definitely be killing a keeper then.
very much so. And then also you still your iron guts. Sorry, your lead belchers who are shooting 18 inches. Although you would have to find a way to get another artifact into your army, obviously.
This is an artifact, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's great.
So that would be they could be doing D6 shots each, but hitting on 3s, and then the close combat weapons hitting on 2s. So it like works really well for a gun line because this guy stands there and does the shots out, whereas opposed to he's got to follow up. So it's a pretty cool one. Big love Puke G Puck in the chat. So that's the Gruesome Trophy Rack.
Yeah, that's great, that one.
And obviously if you take that, there's a thank you Davidian NL. We haven't talked about battalions yet. There's a way to get more. Like that's why I talked about them because I think that's the answer in my opinion. And then you've got Sky Titan scatter pistols. You've got 6 attacks instead of 2s. Instead of 2 attacks with your pistols. Just modelling with all the guns. And also, if you don't model him with a cowboy hat, are you even trying at this stage?
Well, 6 attacks with loads of
pistol shots.
Doing D3 damage.
Doing D3 damage at red 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Fang of Gur, the Bearer's Glaive, has a range characteristic of 3 instead of 1.
I mean, if you take 2 tyrants, one can be with the trophy rack and one can have the extra guns. And then you'll be like, I've got 6 attacks hitting on 3s now, or 2s or whatever.
Yeah, so like Tombstone. That would be really funny. Yeah.
Just give him a machine gun.
Yeah, model him with a massive gun. Yeah, or give him one of the cannons from get like another Iron Blaster and just give him one of those cannons.
Or just give him one of the big 40k machine gun things. It'd be like the guy off of
Hey Davis Ford. Love you loads. Dave, by the way, we should work out about the thing. We'll talk about that later. I'll tweet you.
A big Gatling gun.
Yes. So I mean, the one that seems to stand out, obviously, again, shoehorning us even more into that build that we talked about before, in my opinion, is the gruesome trophy rack.
Yeah, that's great artifact.
Great artifact. So that is all of those. So I'm going to talk about their battalions now, because then you can still take all of these guys also in the other tribes, which are related to the Beastcore Raider part of the list. The benefits normally mean that you just don't, if that makes sense. Yeah. So the battalions. So you've got the Tyrant Guard, which is 1 Tyrant, 1 to 3 Iron Guts units, 0 to 2 Iron Blasters. Each time you allocate a wound or a mortal wound to a friendly Tyrant from the battalion within 3 inches of a friendly Iron Guts unit from this battalion. On a 4+, the wound is negated, and the Iron Guts suffer the mortal wound. That's not a great special ability, yeah. But what is cool is you obviously get the Tyrant, a unit of Iron Guts, an Iron Blaster, 0 to 2 Iron Blasters, and you get your artifact and command point early on. So pretty good. And like we talked about,
how many points is that?
That's 120 points. It's a bit expensive, but yeah. Then the Gormand, 1 Slaughtermaster, 1 to 3 Gluttons, 1 to 3 Lead Belchers, and 1 unit of Iron Guts. The Slaughtermaster in the battalion can use the Great Cauldron ability twice in each of your hero phases instead of once.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
That's his one where he's looking for +1 to hit.
Yeah.
So he can have +2 to hit?
Yeah, but they have to be on different units.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and also the Puke G-Puck, I couldn't agree more. In the last battalion, you do want the Iron Guts alive and not the Tyrant. So you would never use that ability, but you would be using it for the artifacts, command point,
and the drop.
So I think that's really important as well.
How many points is this one?
So this one is 140 points, but it's 140 points, which is the same price as a Slaughtermaster.
Yeah.
So you could pay the same 140 points to just have another Slaughtermaster
with the extra spell.
With an extra, able to cast another spell, and they're still going to fish in the pot.
Cauldron, yeah. So you're just missing out on the command points, the drops, and the
relic. So that's the choice you have to make. So the only bonus for that is having it as a low drop. You got the Butcher's Band, which is 1 to 3, 1 Butcher, 1 to 3 Glutton units, 1 to 3 Lead Belcher units, and 1 Iron Guts. So you can probably get like a very low drop army with that. Missing out the Noblars, which I think you need. At the start of your hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to each friendly unit from this battalion, wholly within 12 inches of the Butcher. Like, don't get me started how atrocious the battalions are. So again, useful for a low drop. Doesn't get. I mean, do you care about any of the elements?
No. Well, the low drop. Obviously, we've said it's quite nice to get some of those other artifacts in.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Then you got the Junk Mob. Check this out. 1 to 3 units of Noblars.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. 1 to 2 Scrap Launchers. Oh no. Add 1 to the attack characteristic for the piles of scrap. They normally do 3. Used by Scrap Launchers within 3 inches of any Noblar units from this battalion that have 20 or more models.
Add how many attacks? Just the 1 extra attack.
Huh?
Just add 1 extra attack, or is it 1 per 20?
Yeah. No. No, just 1 extra attack. If there is a unit with 20 or more models. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All ogres should have a 5+ feel no pain, says Oscar Lyles paints, and I agree. And also, Otway Phil says, Rob, min-size Skull comes in. We haven't talked about those yet. 300 points for the artifact and CP. So these are, like, the minimum for these is, like, pretty cheap. It's 500 points for the Gut Guard if you want the minimum. Yeah. 408 points minimum for the Gormand. 700 points for the Butcher's Band, 320 points for the Junk Mob, and you do want the Noblars. I would be tempted, potentially, to take the Noblars. So the Junk Mob's 100 points. So the 2 units of Scrap Launchers, yeah. Then the 1 unit of Noblars.
You only have to take 1 Scrap Launcher, though. Is it
yeah,
1?
So you could just go 1 and 1, right? And then you're going super cheap. Realistically, 320 points for that minimum drop, but the Scrap Launcher is useless, but the Noblars aren't. So, I mean, it's not useless, it's 36-inch range. Yeah. It might ping something, but you don't want to spend points to ping something, and you really are spending 240
get
points.
bonuses against 10 or more models.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's great for taking out screens. If you're elf charging a Stonehorn down somebody's throat, scrap launcher the screen off.
That's a good point.
Ram the Stonehorn.
That's a good point. Plays a lot like Nicholas's 40k list. That's a really good point. And he's cheap, right? And it gets the Noblars in that you want, because you might be able to, with that and one of the other units, one of the other battalions, make a 2-drop. So, and then you've got, well, we've talked about the other things in a bit.
Cool.
Dr. Vulcan says, overall, this army does not seem great competitive-wise. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to be analytical without criticism. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm trying to be more constructive at the same time. Anyway, that's all those dudes.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah, I think they're priced pretty fairly, really. So far?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, you play these against that Sylvaneth battle team, you guys are going to be having a great time. Like, all of the abilities are, like, nice. Like, it's like, that's kind of cool. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it's like, wholly... and the rules are super neat, right? Wholly within 12. Outside of X. Command ability does Y. You're like, fair enough. Like, it's just a dead honest book. Like, it's on the nose. Just like the Iron Jaws book, really. But the Iron Jaws book also is, like, crazy powerful. If you compare the 20 hard boys to the
gluttons,
the hard boys would kick the fuck out of them all day. Yeah, it'd be like a proper shoe-in. You'd just be like, I'm not going to make anything. I am honest, Dave Fraser. You're supposed to be honest. Anyway, should we talk about the winter guys?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Or fuck those guys?
No. Let's hear about these guys.
All right, this is where it gets tasty. You're gonna enjoy this. Frostlord on Stonehorn. Yeah. Let's go. Let's play Warhammer. Yeah. He moves. Starts off at 12. He's gonna be hungry. 14 inches.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thermal Rider Cloak. Straight down your pants. He's a monster, so he's gonna be doing those mortal wounds when he charges.
Yeah.
Amazing. He counts as 10 wounds on an objective. Amazing.
Yeah.
You throw him right down. He's got 13 wounds. Starts up with a 3-up save. Great, target for having a.
Does the save degrade?
The save does not degrade. Just starts up with a 3-up save.
Yeah.
Now in close combat, 4 attacks with his Frostbear. 3s, rend 1, 3 damage.
Decent. Yeah.
Decent. Punches and kicks. 3 attacks, 3s, no rend, 1 damage. Rock hard horns. Start off with 6 attacks, but they hit on 4s. Don't forget, we've already got the Butcher that could add +1 to that if we needed to. Wounds on 3s, -2, 3 damage. So that's his second 3 damage weapon. And then you've got the Crushing Hooves, D6 attacks, 3s, 2s to wound, rend 1, D3 damage.
How many of those? Sorry,
6. D6.
D6 attacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a ton, right? Add 1 to the damage inflicted by the attacks made with this model's rock hard horns and crushing hooves if this model made a charge that turn. So that would be D3. Crushing hooves would be D3 +1.
Yeah.
The horns, which start off with 6 attacks,
4 damage.
would be 4 damage each. And then he's got Stone Skeleton, which is just a 5+ DPR.
Nice.
Amazing. On 13 wounds. Then you've got Bellowing Voices, command ability. You can use command ability at the start of your charge phase. Pick a friendly model with his command ability until the end of that charge phase. You can reroll charge rolls for friendly Beast Core radius units wholly within 12 inches of this model when that charge roll is made. It's just rubbish. Like, it's not like immune to battle shot. It's not.
No, his command ability is reroll 1s. To hit. Because that's what he's going to be saving that command point.
Yeah. So it's going to be one of the generic ones. Dave Fraser says it's 2016 or 2017 all over again. Stormhome boss flying across the board and tabling people while Grots just stand there. Just no fanatics this time around. It's super disappointing, the command abilities. They're proper being phoned in. There's just no thought about the composition. The rest reroll charges wholly within 12. Have you seen what the Bone Reapers do? Or Iron Jaws? You're war. You're just once per battle, everyone on an extra fucking attack. Unless they get lucky, in which case 2 extra attacks army wide. These guys get really close to me, reroll charges. But you can't sniff at his output, right? He does some decent combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does some decent combat. So
yeah, really could do benefit from the +1 to hit. Have they got mount traits?
They do have mount traits. So I'll go through the things that you can do to make this guy better now, right? So command abilities and artifacts and stuff. Yes, so the traits you can take, and you can take this on the Frostlords or the Huskguards, which are like the lower down version, but they can also be on Stonehorns or Thunder Tusks. So you can reroll wound rolls for melee. Oh, never mind. I've just greened and read them. The good ones are Frostfell Aura. Enemy units cannot retreat within 3 inches of the general. End of.
Cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You got Skilled Rider, definitely the one everyone's going to take all the time. Halve the number of wounds allocated to this general, rounding up when determining how much damage table to use on this general. So don't forget, you've got Skilled Rider, so they're going to half them. He's got a 5+ DPR just on his War Scroll. So he's just so he's a Vermin Lord effectively with 13 wounds. You're now halving all wounds. You've got the more part of the back of the board that can heal D3 once per game. And in a minute, you can also pray. We'll get to that in a minute with the priests and heal another D3. So survivable.
Sweet.
Survivable. So I think that's the one that people are going to take. But you got touched by the Everwinter, which I like. This general is a priest. If the general is already a priest, they know an additional prayer from the Everwinter prayer. Is it as good as Skill Rider? No. So you're not going to take it. But I can see you using the Frostfell Aura. Like I can see that being someone's plan. I'm going to fly across there and pin them in.
Just tag them in.
Just tag them and pin them in.
If you multi-charge 2 units, you can fight one and just hold the other one in place, and then you know you're going to be fighting it in the next turn, if it's theirs or yours.
Yeah, which is huge. So that might be like the pick that eventually someone goes for, but it's super hard not to just want to half your wounds on that character. Yeah. They're, by the way, they're 400 points for these guys. So Frostfell Aura says enemy. Anyway, so then the relics that you can take is so the one people really want me to talk about is the so you've got reroll the Rim Shroud, reroll unmodified hit rolls for 6 for attacks made with a missile weapon that target the bearer. So any 6s to hit, reroll them. Rubbish. The Blade of Allfrost, pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. If any wounds inflicted by this weapon are allocated to an enemy hero or monster, and the mod is not slain, subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for attacks made with the melee weapons for the rest of the battle. Still rubbish. Okay, just shout out when you hear the one you like. Carvelax Flank? By the way, I hope Carvelax is a cool thing to eat. Friendly Icefall Yetis units that are wholly within 12 inches of the bearer at the start of the movement phase can move an extra 2 inches when they make a normal move during that phase.
So make your Yetis hungry.
Make your Yetis hungry. Here we go. Alvagar. Let's see if you're going to take this. Alvagar Rune Tokens. Once per battle, at the start of your hero phase, the bearer can use this artifact. So only once. If they do so, until the start of the next hero phase, you can reroll hit and wound rolls for attacks made by this bearer, and reroll save rolls for attacks made by this bearer.
Once per battle.
Once per battle.
Okay. It's alright, I guess, but I'd rather take Ethereal or Thermal Rider or Ignite Scales.
I mean, reroll to hit and to wound. Oh, Dr. Vulcan, thanks very much, by the way, for the 200 bits.
Yeah, but it's just for the rider, so it's only the spear, isn't it? It won't be for the mount.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, you're right. But reroll saves will be for the arm, for the unit.
Yeah, but it's for one turn, isn't it?
I think I prefer an Ethereal Amulet.
Yeah.
Then you've got Skull Shards of the Dragar. Once per battle, the bearer can attempt to unbind one spell in the enemy hero phase as if they were a wizard. If they do so, the spell is automatically unbound.
Once per battle.
And then you've got the Elixir of the Frost Realm. Once per battle, at the start of your shooting phase, the bearer can use this artifact. If they do so, pick one enemy unit within 9 inches of the bearer that is visible to them. The unit suffers D6 mortal wounds, and then the bearer suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Sure.
It's genuinely a really nice book. Like, if this book was how they were all, like, we'd all have to play Warhammer. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
So that's all the artifacts?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you say there were mount traits as well then?
There were mount traits, sorry. Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
let's make the Stonehorn better.
Yes, so there's one for the stone horn.
Yeah.
So you've got black clatterhorn. This is in green. Add one to hit rolls for attacks made with the model's rock hard horns.
That sounds great.
That's the one. You've got metal cruncher. This is kind of cool. At the start of the combat phase, pick one enemy war machine or one enemy unit with a save characteristic of 4+, 3+, or 2+ that's within 3 inches of this model. That enemy unit immediately suffers D6 mortal wounds.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yes. I don't like. Fine.
Right.
It is alright, like D6.
Right.
Don't forget, you're going to do the charge.
Yeah.
Boof.
Do a load of mortal wounds.
Do a load of mortal wounds, and then you go Metal Cruncher. You've got a 4-up save, Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, or Fleshy, or Keeper Secrets. Yeah, you're like, sweet. So now you're taking D6 mortal wounds. So before you even, you might strike first, but I've probably done 7 or 8 mortal wounds to you before you even strike.
When does that happen, sorry?
At the start of the combat phase.
Okay. Cool. That's good.
And it is each combat phase. So he's got that kind of rolling D6 mortal wounds all the time. And to be fair, compared to the... Now I'm looking at it, +1 to hit rolls for attacks made with the model's rock hard horns. If you're doing that every combat phase, you just got to make sure you put him into the right units. Yeah. And he's just going to be doing D6. He basically gets D6 mortal wounds every turn.
Yeah, it's quite a nice choice there.
Yeah.
Quite a choice. Yeah.
Actually, that's better than when I first read it. Like, you just keep thinking about it. If you think about it, when determining the number of dice trolling, so belligerent charger, it's always a 7 when you charge for the purposes of doing the mortal wounds on the charge.
So you're always rolling 7 dice.
Yeah.
Even if you roll higher than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boring.
Oh no, minimum of 7. Minimum of 7.
That's all right.
Yeah. Davidian NL makes a really good point in the chat. Imagine if you took the Metal Cruncher, where you're doing D6 mortal wounds every turn, but then you took the Relic or the Command Trait so that they can't run away.
Yeah.
Such a dicky thing to do. Just keep turning more.
So I can crunch you.
But to be fair, how long does something have to survive
against a Frostlord?
Against a Frostlord on Stonehall, which should be one of the. Do you know what I mean? Improve the rune characteristic of crushing hooves by 1. Add one to this model's wound characteristic, which is not bad if you're going down that ethereal amulet route with.
Yeah, but that's boring compared to the other ones.
Then you got Old Granny Tooth. Add one to the charge rolls for friendly Stonehorn units and Mourn Fun packs wholly within 12 inches of this model. So you can make use of that command ability, and you could be just having a great time.
What do you get? +1 to charge.
+1 to charge.
Okay.
So, which one are you going to go for? Metal Cruncher or the Black Clatterhorn?
Oh, I like the Black Clatterhorn.
Do you?
Yeah.
I actually think the D6 Mortal Wounds one is better. If you think about it over time, it just makes sense. Because you're doing, basically, every battle round, you're doing 2d6 Mortal Wounds.
Yeah, unless you're fighting grots.
Yeah. And then you -1 to hit, so he's definitely not hitting.
Oh, so you need the +1 to.
But I've told you about my tournament tactic. It's just avoid playing grots. Okay. That's my tournament tactic.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Also, I'm not 100% certain I want to do D6 Mortal Wounds to Mortek Guard that explode and do Mortal Wounds back to me, but then they all heal.
No.
Where's
the one that kills the dude behind it?
Yeah. When are they going to start making the get the guy behind the guys command trait? Because that's a good command trait. What would we call that?
Inflict mortal wounds to everybody stood around the unit you charged.
but not the unit you charged. They're scared.
It's called explosive impact hits.
So then you've got the Thunder Tusk, which I haven't talked about yet. Yeah. So I designed a dude. I called him Ice Block. This is my guy. This is my Stonehorn. He's got Skilled Rider, half the wounds. He's got the Alvagar rune tokens. His mount trait is the Rock Main Elder. So add 1 to this model's wound characteristic. So his job is just to be like fucking tanky as all hell. But probably he should take the Ethereal Amulet. But I wanted to take the actual book stuff, not the other stuff. So I think he would look awesome, and it's real fun. Anyway, so
that's a boring build. You could say it's vanilla.
Vanilla Ice Build. I'll change its name. I promise. I'll re-edit that. The day praise says, why is he not called Freezy but Freeze says, don't worry, I'm going to call him Vanilla Ice.
Boring build.
Okay, so the Thunder Tusk. So now, instead of on a 2+ it doing 6 mortal wounds, it does 12 mortal wounds.
Great.
Doesn't do that, unfortunately.
Oh.
So this is a Frostlord on Thunder Tusk. 3-up save, 13 wounds. But now it's only move 8, but hungry, move 10. Now the Frost Wreath Ice, so the shooting attack, what it does in close. So do not make attack sequence, blah blah blah. So you pick one enemy unit within 18 inches of this model that is visible to it and roll a number of dice shown on the damage table above. Add 1 to each roll if the target has 10 or more models, and add 2 if the target has 20 or more models. For each 6+, the enemy suffers a mortal wound. So, and you roll 12 dice. So on a unit of 30 or more models, you'll do 6 mortal wounds. On a unit of 20 or more models, you'll do 4 mortal wounds. And then a unit of less than that, you're going to be doing 2 mortal wounds. So it's pretty shit.
It's chip away, isn't it? Chip away.
It is, but you can just take a wizard and cast a spell, right?
No.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, you don't have to cast to do that, though. What's the range again, sorry?
18 inches. But you move... No, sorry. Yes, 18 inches, and you move 10. And obviously, if you're not in close combat.
And you don't have to roll to hit, so that's good. Like, you know, a couple of them can maybe take out a hag or something.
Thanks, Blaze Be Mad. You look cute too. Yeah, could take out something that's pretty valuable, but it's not going to. I suppose it's like fishing for the racist swords, right?
Yeah.
But the issue is the points, because as we talked about, we really need to actually put some punch in the army. And I just need to get the points again. Sorry. So it's 390 points for the Frostlord on Thunder Tusk, but the Frostlord on Stonehorn's 400 points, and he's just going to go through it. This guy, like.
What else does this guy
Okay,
do?
so he's -1 to hit in close combat,
Yeah.
because he's numb and chill, and his command ability is, his command ability is you can use command ability at the start of your charge phase. If you do so, pick one friendly model with his command ability until the end of that phase. You can reroll charge rolls for friendly Beast School Raiders units holding within 12 inches of that model.
It's the same one as the other one. Yeah.
It is, because they just phoned him in and they didn't do a good job on writing them at all. Trying to be nice.
Sure.
Trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Huskard on Stonehorn, though. Yeah?
No, but so what attacks does that guy have?
Okay, so he's got the Frostlord, so he's got the Spear, 4 attacks, 3/3s, rend 1, 3 damage. So it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Punches and kicks is 3 attacks, 3/3s, no rend, 1 damage.
Yeah.
And then the Colossal Tusks, 3s, 2s to wound, but that gets worse. Rend 1, D3 damage. So
How many of those?
4. So potentially
so he's
12.
Not as.
On Necrolepsy, thanks for subscribing for 3 months. Also, hi Valotron. The only reason for taking Thunder Tusk is if you get him the mount trait for every enemy unit within 3 inches to fight last in combat phase, which, yes, that's correct. We'll talk about that in a minute. But also, hi Valley, hope you're well. Just Nikos, thanks for subscribing for 17 months. Woohoo! Too interesting. Is this still going? Have we been here a long time, Nate? Are you tired?
No.
We've been eating because we had our dinner.
Yeah.
We should eat at the start of every show. Okay. Okay. So the Huskard though, Nath.
Yeah.
This is important. The Huskard's command ability is you can use his command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Fang unit that made a charge move in the same turn and is wholly within 12 inches of a model with his command ability. If you do that unit's Fang charge ability in that phase, add 2 to the damage inflicted by the attacks with the unit's tusks instead. So add 2 to the damage inflicted by the attacks made with that unit's tusks instead of 1 with their tusks. Now don't forget, we talked about the fact that we could have +1 attacks to all the melee profiles of something in an army if you cast the spell. So if you did that on a unit of Fang, and then they get an extra attack that's doing +2 damage. So that's not a bad command ability at all with the line breakers.
Yeah, so it's a bit like the Iron Jaws thing, but it's just for that combat phase or until the next. Yeah, because obviously it's just when they charge.
Yeah.
So it's just for that.
So you have to get the charge off. This guy has to be wholly within 12.
Yeah. Which he will, because he's also charging along, isn't he?
Because this is the Huskard version.
Yeah.
So like he's way better than the Frostlord version because he actually does something. So yeah, like potentially could do something really good. Ray Chow, big love. Thank you for subscribing. Hi there, Dan HWG. Who the best Destruction Army now after all the releases? Iron Jaws? Ingross are the best. Right, so
Probably Big One.
Yeah, probably big one. 2s and 2s, 2 damage. Anyway, the actual Huskard though has got 1 worse save.
Yeah, he's 4 up save.
4 up save, 12 wounds, so 1 less wound. Still moves just as far. He's got he can have a bunch of weapons: harpoon, launcher, chain rasp, like whatever you want to take. Punches and kicks is 3 attacks, 3s, 4s, no rend, 1 damage. Rubbish. Rock hard horns though, still just as good. 6 attacks, 4s, 3s, rend 2, 3 damage. So he's doing decent work. And then the crushing hooves is d6 attacks, 3s, 2s to wound, -1 d3 damage. So he's got the earth shattering charge. Add 1 to the damage for the hooves and the horns. So d3 or damage 4 on the charge. So he's still got that. That's great. He also is going to do those mortal wounds when he charges. Decent. He's got the 5+ DPR from the stone skeleton. So good. Like then you got blood vulture. If you take 1, pick a unit within 30 inches on a 2+ takes a mortal wound.
Okay, they've changed that, so you pick 1, you pick 1, all of that. That's gone. It's just 2+ mortal wound. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's got to be visible to them as well. And then so that's the Huskard on Stonehorn.
How many points does that guy?
Huskard on Stonehorn is 320 points, so he's only 70 points. But you are missing out, like combat-wise, you're missing out on that wicked frost spear attack, which is potentially another 12 damage.
How many attacks does he have with his weapon then?
He doesn't have a
melee weapon. He's only got shooting.
He's armed with punches and kicks, and either a harpoon launcher, chain trap, or blood vulture. He's got a shooting attack, not a combat attack.
How many punches and kicks are there? Sorry.
3. 3s, 4s, no rend, 1 damage. So you're missing out on a lot for those 70 points. Oh, Blaze Me Mad, thank you for subscribing for 3 months. Neil says Slayer of Kings, -2 rend. Let's go, baby. And then you've got the Huskard on Thunder Tusk, and this is where things get interesting. 12 wounds, 4 up save, move 8, same as before. You've got this chain trap, harpoon launcher, and the punches and kicks, which suck. But then you've got the Colossal Tusks, which is 4 attacks, 3s, 2s, rend 1 d3 damage. So terrible combat monster for 340 points, because it's a little bit more than the Stonehorn version, because it's a priest.
Okay.
It's the only priest in the book.
So the Frost Lord isn't a priest on the Thunder Tusk. This is a
Huskard on a Thunder Tusk is the only priest in the book.
Okay, cool.
So if you want a priest, you have to spend 320 points.
Yeah.
Interesting. Insakuni, thank you for subscribing for 2 months. I still like the Thunder Tusk because they go with Yetis. I also prefer their mount traits. So we'll talk about those in a minute. -1 to hit in close combat. Still got the shooting attack. Blood Vulture, same thing. So Blizzard Speaker, prayers. Yeah. So it's the same as always. Add 1 to the roll for each friendly Thunder Tusk, so it's in the hero phase, within 18 inches. So prayers are cast on a 4, so obviously if you're near another Thunder Tusk, it's going to be on a 3. So you've got 2 different spells, which work on a 4, or you get +1 if there's another guy. Winter's Endurance, pick a friendly Beast Core raised unit within 18 inches, you can heal D3. Winter Strength, pick a friendly Beast Core raised unit holding within 18 inches of this model. Until the start of the next hero phase, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by that unit. So most of them wound on 3s, but like I think the Winter Strength one is good. But am I going to pay 320 points to be able to get +1 to wound on a 4+? Not feeling it, babe. Just not feeling it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just don't understand why you would do it. Anyway, so then the
But the mount traits, so they got different mount traits.
I'm on it, yeah, baby. They have got different mount traits. I'm sorry, I'm just going to go find those again. It's quite a big book. So the mount traits. Relics? No. Mount traits. There we go. For the Thunder Tusks, reroll 1 or both the dice when charging with this model. Come on. At this stage, how do you feel about the book?
I mean, yeah, it's not. There's no standout thing. So far, the points have been alright though. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, but then if you compare it to like even a Slaughter Priest, right? Three prayers, 180 points.
Yeah, Slaughter Priests are really good.
Yes, super good. Super good. Anyway, Flesh Greed at the start of hero phase. This model is eating. You can heal a wound allocated to this model. Rimfrost Hide, worse than the Ren characters and melee weapons that target this model to a minimum of 1. Join that up with its -1 to hit in close combat. It makes it more survivable, but it's a shooting unit, so it shouldn't be in combat, right?
I don't know. I think it should be shooting and fighting. Obviously, you got to pick what it's going to be fighting against, but yeah, it's got decent attacks.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're not like, but they're enough for it to go and fight something. It should be fighting.
Yeah.
Shooting.
Yeah. So then you've got the Gavmak, add 1 to this model's wound characteristic. Matriarch, add 1 to charge rolls for Thunder Dust solely with the 12 inches this model. Anyway, you've got the Alvgar Ancient. If this model has not made a charge move in the same turn, enemy units that are within 3 inches of this model at the start of the combat phase fight at the end of the combat phase. So if this model has not made a charge move,
wow.
So they have to.
If they charge you,
they fight last.
Oh.
So you could just put that on the front line,
yeah,
potentially, and then just piling around him, stick him behind the Noblar screen. But it's a lot of points for just that. Do you know what I mean? And you're taking up a mount trait. Like, anyway,
quite a good one.
You like that one?
Yeah.
You can also take a Stonehorn Beast Riders. Like, so you could just have like no characters, just some Beast Riders, and then Thunder Tusk Beast Riders as well. I don't know why you would do either of those two things, but you can, and they've got similar stuff, effectively.
How many points are
That's what I was about to go. That's what I was finding you. They are 300 points for the Stonehorn Beast Riders and 300 points for the Thunder Tusk Beast Riders. But the Beast Riders are battle line, but I still would take them. So,
I don't know, it's fairly combat-y type things, aren't they?
The Stonehorn Beast Riders, 12 wounds with a 4-up save, and then they've got a chain trap, harpoon launcher, punches and kicks. But they've got the rock hard horns, damage 3 with 6 attacks that get worse, and then they've got the D6 attacks on the crushing hooves. For 300 points, well, less than 300 points, I can have 4 Iron Guts, which is going to be 16 wounds with a 4-up save, doing 6, 12, 13 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 2, 3 damage each, plus a bite. Like, they don't compete, in my opinion. Vangelis says he's standing sideways in front of my 4 Noblar scrap launchers. Okay, so some of the other units, and this one gets really cool. The Icebrow Hunter, one of your favourite models. 7 wounds with a 5-up save, move 6 inches. Yeah, so he's got his Hunter's Crossbow. He's armed with a Great Throne Spear and a Hunter's Culling Club, and they've also got some are also equipped with a Hunter's Crossbow. Pretty certain everyone's going to be equipped with it, but Hunter's Crossbow, 1 attack, 4s, 3s, no rend, D3 damage. Throwing Spear, 1 attack, 4s, 3s, rend 1, D3 damage. And then you've got the Club, which is 4 attacks, 3s, 3s, no rend, 2 damage. And the Gulping Bite, 3s, 3s, no rend. But you've got the Master of Ambush. The end of the movement phase, the end of the movement phase, you can set this model anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away. So you can set it up off the board. Yeah. And you can also set up with a unit of sabers off the board. Any reserve unit in your ambush that are not set up on the battlefield before the start of the 4th battle round are destroyed. So you can take.
So he doesn't have to come out first turn.
No, he doesn't have to come out first turn. Mighty Throw. Yeah, at the end.
So you can, the Mighty Throw is the same as before. You can run and throw a spear, and it does D6 instead of D3.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Woohoo! And it's also got a range of 18 now, if you do that. So yeah, if you run and shoot, basically. And then you've got Icy Breath. In the shooting phase, you can say this model will attack with its Icy Breath. Pick instead of attacking with its missile weapons. If you do so, pick an enemy within 6 inches model on a 4+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Fair enough. And then you've got the command ability. You can use command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, you pick one friendly Frost Sabers unit that's wholly within 12 inches of a friendly model with this command ability until the end of that phase. Add one to the attacks characteristic of that unit's melee weapons.
Oh, that's decent enough, yeah.
Currently, there hasn't been FAQ to not stack.
Ah, yeah.
So, +1 attack on the Frost Sabers unit. So, we'll talk about Frost Sabers in a moment.
Yeah. How many points is the hunter?
120 points.
Great, same as the other was.
What a bargain! And then, so you can give him some stuff.
Oh, he's got hunter gear.
He's got hunter gear. So he's got. Would you make a hunter a general? I'd think about it definitely. I didn't talk about the prayers. Sorry, that the other prayers that the Thunderdust can do. I missed that. They've got Pulverizing Hailstorm. It's on a 4+ as well. Pick a point on the battlefield in 18 inches. Roll 1 dice for each unit within 3 inches of that point. On the 3+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. It's like one of the guys is like waking up in his morning. He's having his porridge. Yeah, he's having like, I'm not saying he's having a decaf cup of tea, but he's having like nothing strong. Yeah, like maybe a tincture of like chamomile. Then he's going to work. He's probably on the way listening to some like Ludio in Wadi. Yeah, some nice piano music, something chilled. And then he gets in there and he goes, right, I'm going to start work on the Ogor Mawtribes battle tome. He's like, I'll pick a point, 3 inches. In fact, let's add another thing, like 3+. That's how we do the other mortal wound. The other guy is waking up surrounded by hookers. Yeah, he's doing a line of crack off one of their asses. Yeah, he's coming into work, bleary-eyed. He's wearing sunglasses, and he's just like, I don't know, everyone +1 save. Fucking let's go, Scody boys. Let's go. It's just anyway.
You think there's a disparity?
Only in the lifestyles that they use.
Oh,
Because I imagine they're of equal skill.
Cool.
Good day, Dan and Supervise. Hope you're well. Love you tons. Then you got Keening Gale. Again, don't forget this man walking there listening to his piano music. Pick one friendly monster or Mournfang pack that's wholly within 18 inches of this model. Chanting the prayer until the start of the next hero phase. Add 3 inches to that unit's move characteristic. 340 points to that. And then Call of the Blizzard, 4+. Pick one friendly unit of Icefall Yetis, your favourite, within 18 inches of the model. Chant this prayer, visit for them. Return 1 slain model to that unit.
Grow a Yeti. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
The first one wasn't that bad, because if you snowball something, like, and then you can pray and maybe finish them off.
Yeah. Maybe. Right, so sorry, I was talking about the... oh, God. This has been
on to Hunter Gear.
Hunter Gear, yes. Traits of the Hunter. He's got 6 potential...
And he's got traits as well.
Yeah, baby. So he's got 3 good ones. I'm only going to read out the good ones now. Winter Ranger. At the start of your hero phase, if this general is in ambush, you gain D3 additional command points.
Cool.
So D3 additional command points. Keep him in, so just every hero phase until turn 4, you can be generating D3 a turn. It means you'd have to keep your model off the board. But then he's threatening, back characters. I think you would keep him off the board for a couple of turns anyway to threaten backfield objectives. So that's good. The issue is you don't really have anything to spend the command points on.
Reroll ones.
That's true. Yeah, reroll ones.
All the time on your lead vultures.
Yeah, reroll ones. Yeah, for shooting.
It's great.
Yeah, +1 to hit because of that artifact.
Yeah.
Reroll ones, they're doing some damage now, right?
Or on them iron blasters. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not spending on anything else.
No. Or, except when he comes on and he's got 6 and he's like, Saber-tooths, fight.
With an Aether Quartz approach.
And they've got 100 attacks each, and they go in there and just rip an army to shreds.
The issue is the Saber-tooths are such ugly models. I like how Puke Jack says Saber-tooths with +5 attacks. Wrong. +10 attacks or go home. Yeah. You got Eye of the Blizzard, subtract 1 from hit rolls that target the general. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Raised by Yetis. Raised by Yetis. Great. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by the friendly Icefall Yetis while they're wholly within 12 inches.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that is good.
Yeah.
So then you've got his traits. Oh no, it's not his traits. No, these are his artifacts. Yeah. So you've got the Pelt of the Charnganer. In your hero phase, you can heal D3 wounds. Rubbish. Catnack Brow Plate. Add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target the bearer. In addition, start of your hero phase, you receive an additional command point. That's a pretty...
command point and +1 save.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Plus D3. Yeah. And then I've got the Frost Talon Shard Bolts. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the bearer's Hunter's Crossbow is 6, it inflicts D3 mortal wounds.
Fair enough.
Right. So I designed the CP Hunter. Yeah, so he's got the Winter Ranger and the Catnack Brow Plate, however you say that. So basically, every turn, every hero phase, just D3 plus 1. D3 plus 1 command points. You just fucking throw command points out uselessly on reroll ones on everyone around you. But that's not bad, because he's, like we said, he's 120 points.
And he's just generating 4 command points a turn.
Yeah, that's his whole life's existence.
Because he gets 1 as well, just for being... You just get 1 for turning up.
Exactly. So I like the idea that he's not even on the board. He's just like hunting in the mists somewhere. Yeah. And then all the other guys, there's a tyrant. He's just like, yeah, keep bringing me the pelts. He's like +1 to hit their belches, +1 to hit on you. Anyway, yeah. So the CP Hunter, my favourite particular build.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So he's cool, right?
Uh-huh.
Potentially, and like.
Oh, pity you can't ally him into some other armies that would like
with those items. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Yeah. Right, so let's talk about those Frost Sabers, shall we? And then we're nearly done. Well, we're not nearly done, but I'd like to be nearly done because we have been here for ages. Right, 2 wounds each, 6+ save, 9-inch move. Yeah, they've got 3 attacks each. At the minute.
Looks like 3 attacks.
Looks like 3 attacks. 4s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 1.
Oh, they got rend. Cool.
Yeah, unlike Hungry Boys. Rend 1, damage 1. Their Master's Voice, add 3 to the charge rolls for this unit if it's wholly within 16 inches of a friendly Icebrow Hunter when the charge roll is made. In addition, add 2 to the Bravery characteristic of this unit while wholly within 16 inches of the Icebrow Hunter. Now, you can have... I'm just going to, just go find this again. Oh, God. The points. You can have units of 12 of these guys, is what I'm trying to get at.
So, what's the minimum size?
2.
2.
So, you could obviously start...
how many points are they?
Huh?
And points-wise, they are...
I'm just trying to find it. I'm sorry. I need to, find a button. That does this a bit easier. So they are... There we go. Frost Sabers, they can be your battle line units as well. They're 40 points.
What?
40 points for 2.
As battle
line? If the Icebrow Hunter is your general. Nathan,
40 points for 2.
Are you gonna make a little Kit Kat out of me?
That's great. What?
So, despite being 40 points,
how much? So, and is there a discount for 12?
No discount for 12.
Okay.
But it's still not bad. What's 6 by 4? 80, 120, 240. 240 will get you 240 points. Will get you 24 wounds with a 6+ save that gets +3 to charge. And it's what is that? 12 times 3, 36 attacks. Hit on 4s.
Looks like 36 attacks.
It looks like 36 attacks.
It's actually 4,009 attacks.
Vangelis has made the point. Wave after wave of Sabertooths. Yeah, the new meta. Thundercats.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what save they've got because they're not going to be on the board until they're fighting you with 1,000 million attacks each.
Just don't deploy until turn 3. You'll be like, and the guy's like, would you like to shake hands? You've already lost the scenario. They're like, no, now I've got you exactly where I wanted you.
What happened? Where did you get all those command points?
Right, so that's the Frost Sabers, and there's still some more to talk about that because we haven't talked about the tribes yet, so there's actually more than I thought. Sorry.
Well, there's a tribe of Frost Sabers.
Let me just let me deal with it. Icefall Yetis, move 9. Have I talked about Yetis? No. Yetis move 9, 4 wounds each, 6 plus save, bravery 6. 3 attacks each, 4s, 3s, rend 1, 2 damage. So you've got rend, which is decent. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that make that target this unit. So -1 to hit. And obviously there's also -1 to hit in the spell lore. There's Geminids, so you really could like make these guys like pretty tanky in their own right. That 6 plus save not helping. Then you've got Bounded Leaps. This unit is eligible to fight in the combat phases if it's within 6 inches of the enemy army, and then instead of 3, and it can pile in 6 inches.
It's great.
So that's fantastic. So that means you can just pile in and just
go and stand by a keeper, say, do you locus? That means you fight last, but the keeper can't fight you because you're outside of 3, and then you just go in there and punk his face.
Exactly. And then you got Invigorated by the Blizzard. But whether or not they'd kill the keeper, that's the question. Because anyway, you got the Invigorated by the Blizzard. The unit can still run and charge in the same turn if it's within 16 inches of a friendly Thunder Tusk.
And they moved 9. You see.
They moved 9.
And there was that thing from the dude that could make them +2 move. Was it one of the 11? Wow.
Yeah, with run and charge.
Yeah.
So you could potentially throw these guys. Again, don't want to be this dickhead, but still better than the other guys. And these guys are also conditionally battle line. If the general's a Thunder Tusk, these guys can be battle line. So you can have a whole Yeti army. 110 points for 3.
Oh, that's alright. Yeah.
That's not bad. And you can have a max of 12, but no bonus.
That's good.
Yeah. So not bad at all.
Again, a good price, yeah.
Yeah, good pricing all around. Genesis, let's band together and buy all the Fenrisian Wolves Games Workshop has. Make them think they didn't spot a Space Force problem for 40k. And then we all just run waves and waves of Thunder Tusks. But the Yetis are not bad, right? Not bad. Then the Mornfang, okay? So they move 9 inches. They've got 6 wounds each and a 4 plus save. They've got
Have they got the Ogre keyword?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, so they are hungry and...
Yeah, so they move 11.
Yeah.
The unit is armed with one of the following weapons: Culling Club, or Prey Hacker and Iron Fist, or Gargant Hackers. So the Culling Club or Prey Hacker is 3 attacks, 3s, no rend 2 damage. And Culling Club and Iron Fist. And then the Iron Fist is any saves of a 6 will reflect a mortal wound. But then the Gore Hacker is only 2 attacks. The Gargant Hacker, 2 attacks, 4s to hit, real big problem. 3s to wound, rend 1, but doing 3 damage. So you could do some genuinely good work.
That can be quite scary.
Yeah, so you take them as a minimum of 2 up to units of 12. But the Tusks, which is what you can really pump up, is the 4 attacks, 4s, 3s, rend 1, doing damage 1. But don't forget, we were earlier on able to add +2 to those damage. Yeah. They also do the mortal wounds on the charge, and you can also add +1 attack with the spell to all of these.
And
so
hopefully get the +1 to hit from out of your pot.
And then the +1 to hit out of the pot. So if you wanted to put all your eggs in one basket, and it's 140 points for 2. So for 6 wounds, right? So 12 wounds for that unit with a 4 plus save. It's almost the best armor save you've got in the army. Obviously, it's these and Iron Guts. And Iron Guts have these guys are a little bit more swingy than Iron Guts, apart from on the charge. Because these guys, I think, if you get the spells off, these guys could be a lot better. Also, you can take a unit of 12, which I fucking can't wait to someone to do. Just the flying V. Charge. Yeah? Just the guy's like, right, see if I cast the spell. I've got the spell. Do I get +1 to hit? Yes. The guy just fucking gets fucking hyper shit, and he's like, I am now going to charge! Tell you how! And I will hit this screen really hard. So there are ways to make them better, but it's a lot of points. The mobility is nice. But again, it's another combat unit, so you have to ask yourself, and that 200. If you took a unit of 4, I mean that's amazing. That's 24 wounds with a 4-up save, and it's only costing you 280 points. which isn't bad at all. So definitely got something. But bravery 6, that's real difficult. Oh, they got some abilities. Sorry, forgot about that. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by the attack speed of this unit's tusks if this unit made a charge move in the same turn. And don't forget we added +2 to it via the other system as well. So 4 damage on the tusks.
It's pretty sweet.
It's pretty crazy. With 4 attacks each, so a unit of a full unit, or a unit of 4, sorry, I think is what you take. You'd be doing 16 attacks and then damage 4.
Damage 4,
yeah. Yeah, which is just, I mean, that's not,
a lot, yeah.
that's a lot, right? But it's a big footprint to wield. And then 1 in every 4 models in the unit with banner bearer, so they add +1 to the bravery. You can add +1 to charge. Leads as a Skalg, he gets an iron lock pistol.
Nice, better shooter.
A better shooter. Yeah, so that's that. So let's talk about the tribes. Oh wait, hold on. The other ability said instead of. Shit, I'll have to double check that. So maybe it's not damage 4, maybe it's just damage 3, which is still decent on 16 attacks. I'd take that. Okay, baby cakes. So the winter tribes. Oh, we didn't. There's one more of the other tribes we didn't talk about. So the Meat Fist Maw tribe. Fleshy Stampede. Roll 1 additional dice for the Meat Fist units for the trampling charge ability. That's their battle trait.
What units going there?
Anyone. It's just a tribe. So that's the trampling charge that you do that does mortal wounds.
Yeah. So they just get extra dice.
1 extra dice
per charge.
Or you can have 1 extra spell per wizard, or you can have 18-inch shots on your lead belchers. Then you've got command trait, food for thought. At the start of the hero phase, this general is eating. You gain 1 additional command point. Do you know what? I can't be asked to read the rest. It sucks. Like, that's a bad one. Beast Skull Raiders, Boulder Head Maw tribe. Battle traits, fearsome breed. Add 1 to the wounds characteristic of friendly Boulder Head monsters. In addition, each Boulder Head hero on Stonehorn or Thunder Tusk can be given a mount trait instead of only 1.
Yeah, 2 mount traits per monster.
In addition, each Boulder Head hero on a Stonehorn Thunder Tusk can be given a mount trait.
Oh, each one gets one, not just the one. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So that's cool.
Decent.
Yeah, that's very cool. But then also the +1 wounds. So 14 wounds on an ethereal, half damage, 5+ DPR Frostlord on Stonehorn. He's decent now. Spend that command point on the reroll ones.
You can put mount traits on your Beast Riders then as well. Then.
Yes.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be characters.
No, it doesn't. I just don't know why. Like you can
well,
take
if
an all month
3 ones, then
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could absolutely build like a. Sorry, I just reviewing it for like. I mean, we're not even being that serious. We did talk about the wave of puppies, but.
That was a serious attack.
That was a serious list. You're correct. Deadly Hail, add 1 to the prayers for the pulverizing hailstorm when a Boulder Head priest is chanting the prayer. So, whatever. Command trait, Lord of Bones. Friendly Boulder Head monsters that are wholly within 12 inches of the general. At the start of the movement phase can move an extra 1 inch when they make a normal move through that phase.
+1 move.
+1 move. Command ability, dig deep your heels. Do you know, it's only since I've spoke to you like so much about Iron Jaws, that +1 to charge. I'm super into that now. Like, if I see +1 to charge, I'm like, that's better than... When you read it out, +1 to charge is way better than you think. Like, you're like, oh, +1 to charge, but it's actually really good. +1 to move, not good. Command ability, dig deep your heels. You can use this command ability at the start of your hero phase. If you do so, pick a Boulder Head hero that has a mount until the end of the top row. Until the end, basically, you can use the as if it's unwounded. You can use its damage charge if it's not been wounded.
That's good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Artifact power, Brand of the Svard. If the bearer has a mount, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with that mount's melee weapons.
That's great.
That one is fantastic in my opinion. So like the Boulder Head Mawtribes genuinely okay.
So what was that? An artifact?
Artifact. +1 to hit.
The mounts.
For the mount.
And the mount sit on 4s.
The mount sit on 4s.
Take that and then the mount trait that gives it the other one, and so it's sitting on 2s.
Yeah. Yeah. With those 6 attacks, 2s. Double check that. So.
Is it the black Clatterhorn thing? Was the
yeah, black Clatterhorn. Yeah, so +1 to hit on that. I mean, you could also just be picking out the pot, right? And get +1 to hit as well. So it's very likely you could get those guys really low, like hitting on 2s, and then they're going to be doing. How is big, deep your heels not a bonus to punches and kicks? I don't know where that is. I'm sorry, mate. Lord of Bones, dig deep hills. You can use command ability at the start of your hero phase. So pick one friendly boulder hero that's a mount to the end of the top row. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. Yeah, we talked about that. It's good. Okay, so Thunderbellies. Thunderbellies. Swift outflank. Friendly Thunderbellies Mournfang pack units wholly within 12 inches of the edge of the battlefield at the start of your charge phase can charge in the charge phase even if they ran the same turn. So if you make them super wide.
Run and charge. 12 inches on.
Wholly within 12 inches of the edge of the battlefield.
So 12 inches. Yeah, fair enough.
Rise of the Hurricane. Add 1 to prayer rolls for Keening Gale with Thunderbelly's Priest. It's fine. Command trait Storm Chaser. Add 1 to the charge rolls for friendly Thunderbellies units while they're wholly within 18 inches of this general. So, like I said, that's good. Rip and Tear. The command ability. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one enemy unit with 1 or more wounds allocated to it that is 6 inches. That's within 6 inches of a Thunderbelly's hero. Until the end of the phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Thunderbelly's Mournfang packs until target that enemy unit. So you have to be within 6.
When do you do that? Sorry.
Wholly within 18 inches. Use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. Pick one enemy unit with 1 or more wounds allocated to it that are within 6 inches of a Thunderbelly's hero.
That's right then. That's quite easy to do. Because you've got blood vultures and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you're wounded, you get charged, now we decide to rip your head off. You're dead.
You're supposed to start the combat phase, pick one unit, with wounds allocated to it. Yeah, and that works quite nicely against...
Or you're going to allocate wounds because you're going to charge it and you're going to do impact hits, aren't you?
Yeah, but it works on monsters or multi-wound models. I'm just thinking about that Fire Slayer block.
Yeah.
Just having that one wound.
You're hoping that one of them is just on a wound.
Yeah. Then you got Artifact Power, Shatterstone. Enemy units treat terrain features within 12 inches of the bearer as having deadly scenery rule. Anyway, so you got Winter Bite, Mawtribe. Last one. Battle traits, Ghosts in the Blizzard. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by missile weapons that target friendly Winter Tribe units that are wholly within your territory. So your whole army can be -1 to hit against shooting, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Call of the Endless White. Add 1 to prayer rolls for Call of the Blizzard when a Winter Bite Priest is chanting that prayer. Command trait. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Winter Bite Frost Sabers. Nice. Units and Winterbite Icefall Yetis.
Nice.
Until they are units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this general. So the general.
Everybody's kicking butt. With 1 gazillion attacks.
Exactly. Command ability Howl of the Wild. You can use command ability at the start. Oh no, I've done that. So yeah, all bazillion attacks. Artifact of Power, Frostfang. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons at the start of each battle round. On a 5+, add the damage inflicted for the attacks made to that weapon for the rest of the battle. This effect is cumulative.
What?
Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons.
Yeah.
At the start of each battle round, roll a dice. On a 5+, add to the damage inflicted for the attacks made with that weapon for the rest of the battle.
Oh, okay. And accumulate. So every 5 up, it gets +1 damage.
Yes.
+1 damage.
Which is not bad on a Frostwall on Stonehorn. It's like,
This damage 7 horn.
Yeah, so this
thing.
So Vangelis is right. This is the Saber Spam tribe. So now we are just going to get into. We're nearly there, ladies and gentlemen. We're nearly there. We're just going to get into the whatever they're called, battalions at this point. So you got the Yolbad. This is 1 Huskard on Stonehorn, 2 to 4 Mournfang packs, and 1 to 3 Stonehorn Beast Riders. Unfortunately, the start of your hero phase. In the first battle round, each friendly unit from this battalion can make a move of d6 inches. Roll separately for each unit.
Sure.
Yeah. So Yolbad, 1 Huskard on Stonehorn, 1 to 3 Stonehorn Beast Riders, 2 to 4 Mournfang unit packs. Pack units. Crush, Mangle, Tenderize. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon used by a model from this battalion is a 6, the attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on a target in addition to any normal damage, which is fine. But not.
How many points are
I'd have to scan a bit further. Just give me a minute. Then you got Torbad, 1 Huskard on Thundertusk, 3 to 9 Thunder Tusk Beast Riders, and 0 to 3 units of Yetis. At the start of your hero phase, roll 1 dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of units from the battalion. On a 2+, this suffers. Why are these so bad? Lastly, the Scal. Like, none of those matter.
They take a mortal wound.
Yeah, they take a mortal wound. No, 7. No, just 1.
No, so, is it within any, or is it like each one?
With any.
So you can only do maximum of 1 mortal wound per thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're...
what's the range of it, sorry?
3 inches.
3 inches.
You're trying really hard to make it sound better than it is. Then you got Skull. This is where we're at.
Yeah,
this is you and me.
That's what it used to be.
1 to 6 Icebrow Hunters.
Yeah.
I'm in. 2 to 10 units of Frost Sabers.
Yeah.
Add 1 to charge rolls for units from this battalion while they're wholly within 12 inches of another unit from this battalion.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
+4 charge.
+4 charge.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. While they're wholly within 12 inches from another unit. Oh yeah, you can stack it.
Yeah.
+4 charge. So +4 charge. 1. We don't care about the others because they all suck. Is Skull 100 points? Will you take it?
Yes.
You take it.
I was really tempted to take the Skull before, and it's even got better up.
It's even got better up before. Right, can you take... Hi JJ, number 10. Can you take multiple skulls? Yes, you could. You could.
Stack up on the skulls.
And then Stephen AOS, the honest wargamer, how can you fit 5 Icebrow Hunters and 5... You can fit 5 Icebrow Hunters and 5 times 12 Sabres with a battalion to 1 drop all off the board for 1900 points. Yes. Yes.
Buy a command point. Get D3 plus 2 for the first turn.
Just come on the board.
D3 plus 3 the first turn. Come on the board with potentially
Or
7.
Or you could just
go.
Is it better to do double battalion and then use another artifact? Yeah, 2 drop is still fine. More command points.
It's still not on the board, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
But Aether Quartz Brooch on the other guy.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have that. You have because you got command of, you get 1 and then you get 1 for having your first skull.
And then you do another skull. So you start with 3.
Yeah.
No, you start with 2 and you buy 1. So 3.
Yeah.
Then it's your first turn 4. So it's 4 plus D3. Oh, then he's got the other trait that gets +1 as well. So it's 5 plus D3 turn 1. Yeah. Then you just come on. Then you just spend 8 command points. Aether Quartz Brooch the fuck out of it. And then you say, your turn, motherfucker. Anyway, that's everything.
Plus 8 attacks on all your on your
minimum
herd of doggies.
Yeah, minimum. You could get up to +12.
Send them in.
Send them in. So hold on. Let me just
+4 to charge. And rip the hell out of that.
Let me just see. So I'm only gonna add 8 attacks onto the Frost Sabers, and we'll have a unit of 12. So that would be 11. What's 12 times 11? 144. 133. 121. 121 attacks. Hitting on 4s. Wounded on 3s. Red one dude.
No, there's a +1 to wound thing somewhere. One of the tribes was +1 to wound.
Oh yes, of course, because we're going to make them as winter bite Mawtribes. Yeah. So they're hitting on 4s, but wounding on 2s.
So 60. So wounding on 2s. So 50 attacks at red.
50 saves at red -1. Fuck you. Oh wow. Okay. That's been a long one. So what do you think? Skull. I agree. But number 1, what do you think of it as a book? And also, what do you think of it compared to other books that we've seen released?
Yeah. So.
Same to the Twitch chat.
I think the stuff is priced pretty competitively. I think it's priced alright. Stuff seems fairly cheap.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
I think you get a fair amount.
I mean, the Iron Blast is 120. That's cheap, man.
Yeah, I think you're going to get some stuff on the board, and a lot of it. I mean, there are buffs and stuff, but a lot of it will function without buffs and stuff.
So it's a lot of nothing.
Like a lot of independent stuff. It's all decent stuff. It's not like over the top nothing stands out. So I think your opponent might be struggling to
The Noblars stand out.
Well, I mean, yeah, but nothing will stand out as a major, like, that's unless you put everything into one unit and just take like massive units of iron guts and stuff. But if you have loads of small units, people are going to go like lots of threats, but nothing, no standout threat. So I'll pick off that, and then all the other stuff is still doing whatever it's doing. So I think.
Yeah, I'm not. Like, so one of the most competitive builds at the minute, and if you look at the stats, like Fire Slayers, like super boring army, but they do really well, man. Super well.
Yeah.
And you like we talk about Keepers of Secrets and Good Kings on Terrorgeist or even Skaven, and we eventually, when they get built, we're going to be talking about Mortek Guard, and we're going to be talking about and there are already brutes out there. The issue is I don't see like those little MSU units or smaller like mini threats. I don't see them ever going through the Ardboy blocks like in the big war. Like I just don't see it happening. Like whereas you hate to say it, but we put 180 immune to battle shot wounds down for 270 points for each 60. So I've spent less than 900 points. So I'm at 810 with my Tyrant. I'm still under 1,000 points. I've put 180 wounds on the board that can score. Yeah, they're proper shit and they do nothing.
Yeah,
but like,
then yeah, that's it. And then you've got all these units behind. So now what's that dude's going to be picking on one of those things with this Fire Slayer block, and probably one of the big units of Grots which he'll annihilate. But then everything else is picking away at him, picking away.
Yeah.
Just see what happens first.
Yeah, I think the strength really lead belchers, I think the Stonehorn obviously is what's cool about that build what we talked about earlier, where you got your grots, you got your castle, you got shooting out of it.
Yeah.
You got the Stonehorn can just be like, I'm just going to throw him away. Whereas, but you've also got the Iron Guts, right? The nice thing about that shooting that they've got in both lead belchers and also iron blasters is that your opponent's now going to be like, what, fuck off, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
But then those lead belchers are decent in a fight. Like, you know, that unit of 10 is going to do 20 attacks. 3s and 3s, rend 1 doing 2 damage. That's pretty scary if you look at it as a profile. But the countercharge from the Iron Guts and the other stuff, I think that's the build. I think that's the way to play it. But you have to look at the prevailing threats. That Fire Slayer block, how do you clear it out? Like Vangelis is saying in the chat, and I think that's a really good point. With Hallowheart and Comet, like, what if you go back and just listen to our show when we talked about Free Cities? I was like, you're just going to put Comet in that list with plus 12 to cast or whatever the fuck you're going to do, and you're going to put that in. So that's your, and that's not including the laser beam from the Luminarch. That's not including.
Yeah, but this army can spread out quite easily. It doesn't have to sit in a block.
No, you're right. It doesn't have to.
Those units of Grots, they can, like you see when you play against Skaven, they just put a line of rats. We can do that with these Grots. They're that cheap.
Yeah, and then
you just spread out, and then the Comet's going to clip 4 units, something like that, maybe. And then
yeah,
the rest of the army will fight.
Yeah, but I think the Grots are vital, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I do think, yeah. I mean, that's one of the great things. Is you've got really cheap screens, maybe the cheapest screens.
Yeah, I would actually argue that without them, the book would be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do agree. The Grots are essential part of the book. They're just cheap screens. But then you've got other threats. You've got ambushing threats. You've got 6-inch pile-in threats. You've got a big monster that can.
But it's only ever a counter-attacking army, because none of it is all fast enough to go. But you can't do what Beastie Cows do, where you just run everything forward. You don't fight as a single block like the Fire Slayers do, which is obviously a weakness. You're not sending all 3 keepers in a smash together, right? And you don't have. Well, you do have some pretty offensive output, but you're paying fair points for it realistically, and you're swinging for it. I know, it's definitely going to be a challenge. Interesting army as well. Yeah. I do love the idea of the Stonehorns. I like that with the counter charge with all the mortal wounds on the 4 iron blasters, and then you've got the guy and then the lead belchers. I think that's wicked. I just would not want to paint the 60 to maybe 120 grots that I think it was necessary to take in addition for this army, because there's certain threats you really want to keep.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably looking minimum 40, 60 grots.
Yeah, I think 60 is a minimum. Like, because even like 320s, you got to create double screens against certain armies just because of double activations. That's the other thing as well. Like, where's double piling? Look at this entire army. Like, what if where's the rule where you wipe a unit out and they're still hungry, so they pile and attack again? Like, well, where's their comparative output? We talked about the Frostlord Stonehorn itself, right? Like, that's pretty decent, but it's still maybe not as good as the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist in its output, especially if the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist rolls sixes. Then it just whomps it.
Yeah.
But then this thing can never attack twice, can't fight on death, can heal by bringing another 340 point model with it. Like, doesn't heal inherently on its own. Like, it's just nowhere near. Like, if you put those next to each other, if you put the I keep forgetting their name now, the bulls that are now called the Gluttons, you put them next to Phoenix Guard for the same points, well, same-ish points. Phoenix Guard kick the fuck out of them all day long. Doesn't matter what buffs, by the way, you put onto the
Phoenix Guard kick anything.
Agreed. Yeah, but then you also do that with Ard Boys. Ard Boys kick the fuck out of them as well. Yeah, especially if you put them in a big war, then the Ard Boys beat them up all day. Mortek Guard beat them up, like, and they're about the same points. And that's before you even choose which they're putting in, and before you even include the Harvester. They just so it's anyway. Yeah, it's if I was an Ogres player, I think I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't be disheartened. I'd just be like, okay, unfortunately it's an uphill battle now, but it does make every victory sweeter.
Yeah, I think there's a few lists in there. I think it's not like a one list book, I don't think.
No.
I think there's a few lists in there, and I think it'd be quite interesting to play them. I think it's a bit of a challenge. It'd be like, it's not an obvious book, and it's not like this is the route that you're channeled into.
No, but I also don't think there's any like hidden depth, right? Like, I'm not like.
No, I don't know. I think you can find some little tricks. You got your skulls to play with. You got your iron blaster, mortal wound charging thing. Yeah, you've got some little tricks that you can use, definitely, but nothing too complicated, like you say, I guess. But
I mean, it's destruction players, right?
That's great.
Barely read.
Don't need to. Just go over there and hit things with a chopper.
Well, Nathan Prescott, you've been fantastic. Sorry that it's been such a long one. JJ number 10 says he played against Ogres today. I'd love to know what you guys in the Twitch chat think, or if you've been listening.
Yeah, it'd be good to see how they do.
Yeah,
on the board.
Yeah, so I'd love. So don't forget the stat show is obviously on tomorrow, but that's recorded offline, so ignore that. But like, we'll be keeping track of that in the future. But if you are playing games, or you've got lists or thoughts or ideas, then obviously you can fire them at us. You can go onto the honest-wargamer website and write yourself a rundown, and then show us and let us know what you think. If you've enjoyed the show, obviously you can let us know about that as well. Love some interaction to just like see what your guys' thoughts are, because it's, like I say, first look. It's taken us nearly 3 hours to go through that, and even then it's just like top of the line. Yeah.
A little skim through.
But yeah, there's loads to say. But thank you, Nath. Thank you to everyone watching live on Twitch or Facebook or YouTube, wherever you've been doing. If you've listened to podcasts, I hope you've had a great day and you stay hydrated. Big love to everyone who subscribes on Twitch and everyone who supports us on Patreon. You guys are fantastic. We'll see you all soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, and you guys, keep eating.